Chapter 358. Dang dang dang. Roar. After a few stabs, the red dragon's phantom attack was triggered again. It roared and slammed into General Feng's body. Yi Tianyun's attacks became more and more ferocious and coherent. Every time he attacked, a red dragon's phantom attack would be released, pushing General Feng back a few steps. On the other hand, his attacks had no effect at all as they were all absorbed by the shadow cloak. However, after absorbing a few more times, the shadow cloak on General Feng's body was broken. It didn't even last 5 seconds before it was destroyed. It was obvious that after absorbing to a certain level, it would still be destroyed. Especially when the opponent's attacks were so powerful. Nothing was truly invincible, and the shadow cloak was no exception. After exceeding a certain level, it was inevitable that it would be destroyed. After it was destroyed, Yi Tianyun didn't stop attacking. He continued to clash with General Feng, and see who could last until the end. Dang dang dang. The weapons collided with each other again and again, but General Feng's power was getting weaker and weaker. Under Yi Tianyun's attack, General Feng was forced to retreat again and again, and it seemed like he was losing his strength. After suffering a few attacks in a row and suffering from the backlash, even if he had a final burst of energy, it was only for a short moment. After the shadow cloak blocked a few of his attacks, General Feng was already running out of energy. All that was left was to take a beating. The two just remained silent like that. The only sounds that could be heard were the footsteps, the clashing of weapons, and the sound of weapons piercing through bodies. Swish swish swish. Another few wind blades swept over and ruthlessly cut into Yi Tianyun's body. Although he was wearing the red dragon battle armor, he still couldn't avoid a few deep cuts. Armor wasn't invincible and could only block a portion of the power. Especially when the power exceeded a certain range, it would penetrate the surface of the armor and cause damage to the body. It wasn't just the surface of the armor that would cause damage to the body. The penetration power of spiritual energy was very strong. Sometimes, before the armor was damaged, the body of the person wearing it had already collapsed. Yi Tianyun was expressionless. He ignored the injuries on his body and continued to smash down with the red dragon spear in his hand. The power he erupted with was not much weaker than General Feng's. After a few consecutive attacks, he immediately summoned the red dragon phantom. Just this alone was enough to widen the distance between them little by little. When General Feng was continuously pushed back, the outcome of the battle was already decided. Let go. Yi Tianyun suddenly raised his spear and ruthlessly smashed it against General Feng's arm. With a paw sound, General Feng's arm twisted backwards from the impact. At the same time, the heavenly wind divine sword in his hand was sent flying. After spinning a few rounds in the air, it finally sank into the giant tree. General Feng had a shocked expression on his face. He never thought that the speed that he was so proud of would lose to a junior tyrant soul. At this moment, Yi Tianyun saw the opportunity. His eyes flickered with 2 dragon souls as they whizzed over and stabbed at General Feng's chest. 2 dragon souls burst out from the spear, followed by another red dragon phantom. Suddenly, 3 red dragon phantom images appeared and ruthlessly smashed over. Boom! General Feng didn't even have time to dodge. He could only watch as the attack landed on his body and sent him flying. After flying for a long distance, he crashed into a huge tree. Bang bang bang. He smashed through the giant trees one after another. After smashing through a few giant trees, he smashed into the last giant tree. His entire body caved in as if he was embedded inside. Pfff. General Feng spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was as pale as a sheet and he looked rather terrifying. His last breath was forced out by Yi Tianyun, causing him to be completely exhausted. He didn't have the slightest bit of strength to use. He had burned his blood essence for too long, causing him to be severely overdrawn. His last bit of strength had been forced out. He was destined to lose. Impossible, impossible. How can I lose? I am the invincible general. In the end, General Feng still stared at Yi Tianyun. However, his gaze was gradually collapsing. Yi Tianyun's attack wasn't light, and had damaged most of his internal organs. He wouldn't be able to live for long. The invincible general? There will always be a time when you lose. Yi Tianyun walked over step by step. His body was drenched in blood. He had suffered many attacks, causing his body to suffer many injuries. However, that was all. He didn't suffer any internal injuries. His current defense was much weaker than when he was wearing the evil dragon set. This was true, but his Mystic Heaven Divine Art and Golden Body Manual weren't just for show. He also had the power of the Dragon God's bloodline and powerful recovery ability. He didn't have to worry about anything. There would definitely be injuries, but they wouldn't be that bad. When Yi Tianyan killed General Long, he also obtained the Dragon God's bloodline. After fusing with it, his Dragon God's bloodline was upgraded to the 4th level. This was the reason why he dared to change to the Red Dragon set. He believed that his physique wouldn't be as weak as he thought. You win. General Feng reluctantly smiled. But it's useless. As long as you stay here, the Netherworld Empire will trample this place and kill you all. Pucci, the red dragon spear pierced his body. Yi Tianyan didn't hesitate to pierce his body. He didn't want to waste time talking to him. Don't worry, I will send them to hell and reunite with you. Yi Tianyan pulled out the red dragon spear again, and blood spurted out from his chest. General Feng fell from the giant tree and fell heavily on the ground, and there was no trace of life left in him. Yi Tianyan didn't know if General Feng could hear his last words. Ding. Successfully killed General Feng. Reward, 7,200,000 EXP, 20,000 Crazy Point, 1,000 SPs. Reward, Wind Divine Art, Wind Rush, Wind Flash. Reward, Heavenly Wind Divine Sword, Hurricane Armor, Hurricane Boots, Low-Grade Sacred Tool Set. Wind Stone Rare. Ding. Reward, 30 million EXP, 100. 000 Crazy Point 5. 000 SPs. 1 Enhanced Lottery Roulette Ticket. A bunch of rewards popped up. The reward for killing a higher-level expert was quite good. Maybe it wasn't a lot, but overall it was still very good. In particular, there was an additional chance to draw the lottery roulette, which added up to 2 chances. Chapter 359. It's finally over. Yi Tianyan took a deep breath. This difficult battle was finally over. If he hadn't used some skills, he wouldn't have been able to deal with General Feng. Just a bad luck divine pill was enough to injure him, causing his fighting strength to drop sharply. Because of this, he couldn't use his full strength. He could only use the strength of a 2nd-level Void Spirit stage expert. Especially towards the end, his attacks were too weak to last for too long. After suffering so many attacks, it was hard for him not to die. Fighting someone of a higher level was not something that could be done casually. Just relying on brute force was not enough. Sometimes one needed to scheme. Otherwise, there was no way he could deal with this General Feng. It was too difficult to rely on brute force to fight against someone stronger than him. No matter what, he had successfully killed General Feng, and there was one less threat. There were many Void Spirit stage experts in the Netherworld Empire. Although General Feng was said to be the 3rd strongest expert in the Netherworld Empire, Yi Tianyan didn't know whether it was true or not. The Netherworld Empire's overbearing behavior wasn't without reason. Overbearing behavior was certainly backed by an overbearing force, otherwise, the Netherworld Empire wouldn't have been able to act so arrogantly. When he was about to plunder General Feng's belongings, a sharp light pierced through his back. Yi Tianyan immediately felt danger coming from behind, and when he wanted to turn around to attack, a whip lashed at him, and with a paw sound, the sneak attacker was sent flying. You actually dared to kill our general. You're dead for sure. The one who was sent flying was the Wind Divine Soldier. He spat out a large mouthful of blood. After being struck by the whip, the damage he received was not low. Yi Tianyan looked up and saw that the person who helped him deal with the attacker was Yi Qingxian. He didn't expect that Yi Qingxian didn't leave. When she saw Yi Tianyan being attacked, she immediately came out to help. Your Netherworld Empire is the one who is going to die. Yi Qingxuan's eyes turned cold. She whipped the Divine Wind Soldier again. Pa! The Divine Wind Soldier's head exploded. She was clearly a weak woman, but when she exploded out, she didn't hold back at all. If she wanted to kill, she would kill, and she didn't hold back. It should be said that she would never show mercy to her enemies, especially the people of the Netherworld Empire. She hated them to the bone. If it wasn't for the Netherworld Empire, how could the spirit race become like this? Didn't you leave? Why are you back? Yi Tianyan walked over and found that Yi Qingshuan's body was swaying. He supported her and found that her face was frighteningly pale. I originally wanted to go back, but after thinking about it, I decided to stay here and keep an eye on you. If anything happens, I can still help. Yi Qingshan smiled. I didn't expect you to defeat General Feng. You are indeed our king. Did you carve a divine sigil of heaven and earth? Yi Tianyan stared at her, his expression darkening. Yi Qingshuan's cultivation wasn't high, but it wasn't low either. She could still help when necessary. As a member of the spirit race, he had mastered quite a few divine inscriptions. Some of the forbidden divine inscriptions were especially powerful. Yi Tianyan knew that, but it wasn't easy to carve it out. Moreover, it would consume a lot of energy. It was basically an effect that was exchanged for his life. How could he casually carve this out? The spirit race had a very powerful divine sigil called Divine Sigil of Heaven and Earth. It was a divine sigil that every saintess and spirit king had mastered. The entire spirit race could only be controlled by the spirit king and the saintess. According to the grade, this divine sigil of heaven and earth could only be considered as a 5th grade divine sigil. Was a 5th grade divine sigil that high? Of course not. Although there weren't many 5th grade divine sigil masters, there were definitely a lot of them. Most of them could carve this divine sigil of heaven and earth. But the effect was quite strong. Whether it was a weapon, a pellet, or even the body, they could all use this divine sigil of heaven and earth. The effect was simple and violent. It instantly increased the effect by 5 times, and it lasted for the time it took for a joss stick to burn. If it was used on a weapon, it could increase the damage by 5 times. If it was used on a pellet, it could increase the effect by 5 times. If it was used on the body, it could increase the strength by 5 times. It was simple and violent. Not to mention a 5th grade divine sigil. Even a Grandmaster divine sigil wouldn't have such a heaven-defying effect. But the more heaven-defying the effect was, the greater the price needed. To carve this divine sigil, one needed to use one's own blood. It could be said that to carve a divine sigil of heaven and earth, it would take half of one's blood. The consumption was especially high. Unless it was a critical moment, no one would do this. This was why they didn't want to spread the news. Other than the rarity of the divine sigil, they were afraid that it would bring great trouble to the spirit tribe. Because only a spirit tribe member could carve this divine sigil. Only the blood of a spirit tribe member would be effective. The blood of a normal person would have no effect. Because of this, a large number of spirit tribe members were captured and not killed. Unless they had no other choice, they wouldn't kill spirit tribe members. The reason was simple. They wanted to use their blood to carve this divine sigil. Knowing this divine sigil wasn't enough. They also needed the blood of a spirit tribe member. That was the most basic requirement. Similarly, everyone in the spirit tribe knew this divine sigil. That would be a great threat to them. They would be forced to use their own blood to carve the divine sigil. Otherwise they would die. This was like carrying a fortune. How could they not die if they didn't hand it over? Yi Tianyan also knew this divine sigil, but he couldn't use it. But he could keep it and pass it on to other spirit tribe members in the future. This was what Yi Qingshan had thought. If she died, and the ancestor died, no one else would be able to carve this divine sigil. At a critical moment, this could be of some use. If Yi Qingshan used it on herself, she would be able to instantly unleash a powerful force. Even though it wouldn't be as powerful as General Feng, she would at least be able to save Yi Tianyan once she unleashed it. Other than this divine sigil of heaven and earth, there were other divine sigil as well. The spirit tribe's foundation wasn't that simple. She stayed here because she believed that she could help. As long as she risked her life, she might be able to save Yi Tianyan. Luckily, the tragedy didn't happen, so she could still stand in front of Yi Tianyan. But now, she looked like she was half dead. Yes. Yi Qingshuan's face was frighteningly pale. The side effects were starting to show. She had even helped to send an ambusher flying. Didn't I say that I can escape? I won't fight this bastard to the death, Yi Tianyan said in a low voice. Who knows if our king will fight General Feng to the death? Yi Qingxian smiled. But it's good that you're fine. Keep this divine sigil. It's useful to you. Chapter 360. Looking at the heaven and earth divine rune, Yi Tianyan was very touched. When he saw Yi Qingxuan's pale face, he knew something was wrong. Sure enough, it was really to carve the heaven and earth divine rune. If he couldn't win, Yi Qingxian would use it on him to help him. If he was seriously injured and couldn't escape, Yi Qingxian would definitely use it on herself to help him escape. Now that she didn't use it, Yi Qingxian naturally chose to give it to him. But seeing the crimson color on it, Yi Tianyan's heart tightened. He really felt guilty. It's really hard for Yi Qingxian to do this for him. Really, you don't listen to me, forget it. I won't pursue this matter with you. Yi Tianyan motioned her to sit down, and then took out the blood jade. This thing has not been used up yet. There is still more than half of its effect left. This is an absolute rare item. The price in the mall is as high as 1 million crazy points. He really can't bear to use it. Last time, Shi Shuiyan used a lot, but there is still more than half left, proving that there is still a lot of it. But as his cultivation gets stronger, the consumption will also increase. In the future, it will reach a terrifying level. Quickly use this blood jade to recover, otherwise it will be detrimental to your future cultivation. Yi Tianyan stuffed the blood jade into her arms, and motioned her to quickly absorb it. What kind of treasure is this? I feel that the blood qi is too strong. When Yi Qingxian grabbed the blood jade, she felt a strong blood qi rushing out and drilling into her body. She felt very comfortable. Who cares what kind of treasure it is, as long as it has a good recovery effect? Yi Tianyan said. Quickly absorb it and absorb back the blood qi. This treasure is too rare. There are too few treasures that can replenish blood qi. You can keep it. Yi Qingxian pushed the blood jade back to him. Be obedient, use it for me. I am now ordering you as a spirit king, not as a friend, understand? Yi Tianyan said with a straight face. All right, I'll use it, I'll use it. Yi Qingxian smiled sweetly as she took the blood jade, and began to absorb it. As she absorbed it, a thick blood aura quickly entered her body, causing her pale face to turn rosy in an instant. The effect of the blood jade stone was astonishing. It was immediately effective. Yi Qingxuan's complexion had recovered quite a bit after just absorbing for a short while. This is too miraculous. In just a short while, I can feel my blood and qi recovering quite a bit. Where did this come from? I've never seen such a miraculous thing. Even elixirs that can replenish blood essence can't be replenished so quickly. It takes a long time to recover so much. Yi Qingxian was deeply shocked. I found this by chance. Don't worry too much about it. Let's replenish it first. I have a few hundred pieces of something similar. You can absorb as much as you want. Yi Tianyan gestured for her to continue absorbing. In order to make it easier for her to absorb, he lied to her about 100 pieces of blood jade. A few hundred pieces. This is too unbelievable. You lied to me. Yi Qingxian pouted, feeling that something was wrong. What did I lie to you about? Hurry up and absorb it, understand? Yi Tianyan glared at her, and said, all right. Yi Qingxian felt very helpless as she began to absorb. In just a short while, she had absorbed about half of the blood jade stone, and replenished the blood essence that she had used. Her entire aura was no different from before. Previously, she looked sickly and could not even walk steadily. It was difficult to replenish such a state even with cultivation. She needed to consume many elixirs, and a few years to completely recover. Otherwise, General Long and the others would not be willing to burn their blood essence, unless it was the most critical moment. If they were not forced into a corner, they would not be willing to burn their blood essence. It was too difficult to recover. If they overused their blood essence, it would affect their cultivation greatly. That was why they did not dare to use it casually. If they could recover quickly, they would have used it earlier during the battle. In some cases, they would have used it right from the beginning of the battle. There was no need to wait until the end. I have recovered. This thing is really amazing. Yi Qingxian returned the blood jade stone to Yi Tianyan and asked doubtfully, are there really a few hundred pieces? Of course. Tianyan took it with a smile and added, I just don't know where it is. You really lied to me. Yi Qingxian snorted, feeling very dissatisfied. Tianyan smiled and said, all right, don't worry about this. Let's hurry up and leave. If this matter were to spread, it would be difficult for us to leave this place. All right. Yi Qingshuan's expression darkened. She knew that this was a serious matter. After looting the treasures, Tianyan quickly left with Yi Qingxian. They first went to the spirit tribe's village to check on the situation. By the time they returned, however, the astrals had already been evacuated. Basically, everything they could take with them had been taken with them. Everyone in the spirit tribe had a storage ring, so it was very easy for them to take away valuables, including the vital crystal. Apart from that, there was nothing else that could be taken away. It was a pity that the spirit tower could not be taken away. Spirit tower. Yi Qingxian looked at the spirit tower for the last time and sighed. In the end, we still have to leave this place. This is a temporary evacuation. If we destroy the Netherworld Empire in the future, we can still come back. Tianyan comforted her. Yes, destroy the Netherworld Empire. Yi Qingshuan's silver eyes flashed with a cold light. Immediately, they left the place and flew towards the assembly point. When they arrived, all the spirit tribe's people were already there. When they saw Yi Qingxian and Yi Qingshuan's return, their faces were full of surprise. The Spirit King is back, the Spirit King is back. They all cried out in surprise. They were relieved to see the Spirit King return. I have something to announce here. The Spirit King has personally killed General Feng, and killed a great general of the Netherworld Empire. Yi Qingxian announced as soon as she came up. All of a sudden, everyone was shocked. Then they burst into cheers as if they wanted to tear this place apart. The Spirit King is too powerful. I said that the Spirit King is not afraid of General Feng. Yes, our Spirit King is invincible. He is the strongest. Nonsense. Weren't you worried that the Spirit King would not be able to escape? I was worried for a while. They shouted one after another. And the popularity of Tianyan has increased a lot, and Tianyan's prestige has greatly increased. Spirit King, I wonder what we should do now. Elder Yan and the others thought about the future after the excitement. Chapter 361. When Tianyan and the others left quietly, General Feng's death shocked the entire Netherworld Empire and the heavenly boundary continent. General Feng had led the entire divine armament of Wind to perish there. When he sent people to investigate, all they saw was a pile of corpses. There wasn't a single survivor. Since no one had returned, he knew that they had all been killed, which meant that they had failed. Just like General Long, it was a complete failure. General Feng is dead. Both of them are dead. The Netherworld Great Emperor was thoroughly enraged. A terrifying aura spread out in all directions, causing many ministers to tremble and not dare to speak. The imperial advisor's face darkened. Your Majesty, please allow me to lead a team of celestial masters to destroy the spirit race. Good. Send out the heavenly masters and General Cheng as well. We're going to flatten the spirit race. The Netherworld Emperor was thoroughly enraged. He wanted to personally go and exterminate the spirit race, but since the Imperial Preceptor had said so, he would let the Imperial Preceptor go. He still needed to stay here. Yes, Your Majesty. The Imperial Preceptor did not say a word. After bowing, he quickly left the place, his eyes filled with killing intent. As the Imperial Advisor of the Netherworld Empire, he had to take care of the face of the Netherworld Empire. He had a good relationship with the two generals. Now that they were dead, how could he not be angry? What a blunder! We lost two generals at once. How did General Feng become like this? Even if he can't defeat them, he can still escape. The Netherworld Emperor's eyes were filled with anger. Two of his generals were dead, so he couldn't help but be angry. Especially when he had lost face. The entire empire had lost face. Who is it? I don't believe that the spirit race has such a powerful force. Is it really the Heavenly Dragon Empire? The Netherworld Emperor said in a deep voice. Impossible. The Heavenly Dragon Empire can't even take care of itself now. How can they help? If I find out which force is behind this, I will definitely lead the Netherworld Legion to flatten them. Even if it's the Heavenly Dragon Empire, I will destroy them. The Netherworld Emperor grabbed the dragon throne next to him and crushed it. Bang! The dragon throne turned into powder. Time and time again, things kept pushing his bottom line, which was beyond his expectations. If it weren't for the Netherworld Empire's current problems, he would have personally taken action to flatten the spirit forest. The Imperial teacher brought General Cheng along with him. General Cheng's cultivation was slightly lower, first-level void spirit stage. He had just broken through not long ago. The Imperial advisor personally led the team to flatten the spirit race forest. This was all for the sake of insurance. If even the Imperial tutor could not defeat them, then no one would be able to flatten the spirit race. The most important thing was to find out exactly what kind of faction was there. After all, the people they had sent out had not come back to report, so they had no idea what was going on. Soon they all arrived outside the Spirit Tribe forest. A group of people stood outside majestically. The Imperial Preceptor looked at the area coldly. I didn't expect that I would have the chance to take action personally. You're dead meat. The Imperial Preceptor sneered and quickly rushed into the Spirit Race forest. His divine rune level was not low, so he was not afraid of the formation. After a while, the Imperial Preceptor frowned and walked out of the forest. No wonder, this formation is activated to the maximum. There must be a divine rune grandmaster controlling it. It seems like I have to break it. Immediately, the Imperial Preceptor started to set up a formation outside, preparing to break the formation. After carefully studying it for a while, he began to break the maze formation. However, after spending a few days, he finally broke the maze formation. I've broken through the disorienting formation. Everyone charge. Capture all the spirit race members for me alive. The Imperial Preceptor shouted and took the lead to charge in. Many people roared and charged in with murderous intent. Everyone was excited. They were finally going to flatten the spirit race. How could they not be excited? When they rushed in, they found that it was empty. There was not a single person inside, and they were immediately dumbfounded. There was not a single spirit race person. All the houses were empty. Everything had been taken away. What's going on? Did they all leave? The Imperial Preceptor was stunned. He immediately denied. Impossible. They couldn't have left. If they did, they would be dead meat. The Imperial Preceptor knew a lot about the spirit race. He naturally knew that if they left, they would not be able to reproduce. If they left, they would be dead meat. But now they had all run away. Search. Search all of them. Even if you have to dig 3 feet into the ground, you must find them. The Imperial Preceptor was furious and immediately gave the order. Wouldn't this be a wasted trip? It was as embarrassing as running away. Yes. They quickly went to search. Needless to say, they did not find anything. The only thing they could find were the houses. The rest had been taken away. They really left. It seems like they have given up resisting and have chosen to leave. All right, tear down this pagoda, the Imperial Preceptor said coldly. If that's the case, I will tear down this pagoda and burn it down. The Imperial Preceptor was also angry. He ordered everyone to start destroying the pagoda and completely destroy the spirit race. At the same time, Tianyan had already secretly brought people to the Earth border continent. It took him a long time. After all, many people could not fly, so they could only move on foot. To be more accurate, they moved on earth dragons. He caught a lot of earth dragons, which could be used as a means of transportation. Overall, their speed was quite fast. Moreover, they chose a relatively remote area, so generally no one found them. It was very safe to evacuate from here. In front of us is the Heavenly Jade Sect. We will temporarily settle down there. Tianyan looked up and saw the familiar Heavenly Jade Sect in front of him. There was no problem. From a distance he could see many disciples training. The people behind him looked over curiously. They all wanted to see what the residence of their spirit king looked like. Who is it? Elder E? When they saw a group of people following behind them, and all of them were riding earth dragons, they were dumbfounded. They had never seen so many dragons before. Their pretty faces were pale with fright. Fortunately, they saw an acquaintance coming, otherwise, they would have sounded the alarm. Well, these are our distinguished guests. Open the door and let us in. Yi Tianyin gestured. Yes, yes. They hurriedly opened the door and let them in. Following Yi Tianyin and a group of people walked in. Shi Shuiyin happened to be outside. When she saw Yi Tianyin, she was stunned. Chapter 362. In the past, Yi Tianyin would only bring back 1 or 2 earth dragons, but this time, he brought back a whole group of them. And there are dozens of earth dragons. How can Shi Shuiyin not be dumbfounded? If they all joined Heavenly Jade Sect, it would be a huge deal. And I'm back. Yi Tianyin looked at Shi Shuiyin's shocked expression and said with a smile. There are a lot of things that need to be explained in detail. Let's have an elder meeting as usual. There is one thing that needs to be clarified. Oh, okay. No problem. Shi Shuiyin rolled her eyes and said. Let's go, let's see how you explain it. Yi Qingxian and the others looked around and followed Yi Tianyin into the heavens immersing ancient ruins. When Yi Tianyin walked in, he found that the place was repaired quite well. It doesn't look much different from the new place. He just needs to continue to repair it, and it will be completely new. The divine runes here. It seems like they were made by our spirit race? The spirit race old ancestor looked around and said in surprise. It should be. The original owner of this place asked a divine rune master to carve it, but I don't know who did it. Yi Tianyin said with a smile. From now on we will stay here, this place will become our base. They all nodded. They don't have any opinion on what Yi Tianyin said. As long as they have a place to settle down, that's more than enough. Soon, they entered the meeting room, followed by the elders and old ancestor of the spirit race. These are the people of the spirit race. I believe you all have heard about it. Yi Tianyin said in a deep voice. I don't need to say much. I am now the king of the spirit race, because of the Netherworld Empire's problem. I brought them here to take refuge. At the same time, I plan to ask the spirit race to give us an independent space. In essence, it is equivalent to joining our Heavenly Jade Sect, but not merging together. It is the same as before, 1 sect with 2 sects. Now there are 3 sects. Yi Tianyin's words shocked Shi Shuiyin and the others. In the blink of an eye, Yi Tianyin had become the king of the spirit race. This was simply inconceivable. Their minds were all stupefied, and they couldn't react for a moment. Everything was too sudden, and many people had heard of the spirit race. They were extremely powerful existences. But now he joined the Jade Sect. This is unbelievable. In terms of attainment in divine inscriptions, there were very few people who could surpass the spirit race. But now one of them had joined the Jade Sect. After a while, they recovered. Shi Shuiyin glared at him and immediately smiled. Dear guests, is there really no problem? Do you want to join our Heavenly Jade Sect? We will listen to the instructions of the Spirit King. We will do whatever the Spirit King says. As a representative, Yi Qingxian smiled slightly, looking at Shi Shuiyin up and down. Her silver eyes flashed with a bit of colorful light. The rest of the elders didn't express their opinion. They said that they will listen to the instructions of Yi Tianyin. In the case that there are no traitors in the spirit race, the Spirit King is the most important. Unless they are told to commit suicide, they will follow the orders of the Spirit King. There is no problem in joining other sections. Anyway, they will follow the Spirit King, so of course, there is no problem. They maintain a major principle, and that is to listen to the instructions of the Spirit King. Otherwise, why would they need the Spirit King to lead them? I see. Then according to Tianyin's words, I will leave it to you to manage. I don't know how to manage it. Shi Shuiyin felt that the cultivation of the group of people is very strong. Which one of them isn't stronger than them? Obviously, it is impossible for them to give orders. Okay, according to what I said, from today onwards, the spirit race will officially join the Jade Sect and establish a spirit gate. Yi Tianyin said with a smile. But in this way, it seems that the dual dragon mansion that we talked about before has to be changed, and the Heaven's Top mansion will also join. I want to change the name. After the spirit race joins us, it will become a 3rd-grade force, so we have to rename it. Everyone looked at each other. They don't know how to name it. It is a bit difficult. How about this? How about we name it after you? Shi Shuiyan thought for a moment and suggested, let's call it Heavenly Cloud's Mansion, how about it? We will take you as the center, whether it is an empire or a stronger force in the future. We will all be named after heavenly clouds. This name suddenly made everyone's eyes light up. Although there is nothing new, they were originally led by Yi Tianyan, so there is no problem in naming it after him. This proves that it is his force, and it is a force that he manages. I don't think that's a good idea. Yi Tianyan was a little embarrassed to use his own name to name it. Spirit King, it is decided. We will name it after you, so that your name can be widely spread in the future. Yi Qingxian agreed with the proposal and felt very satisfied. Yes, Heavenly Jade Sect is not like this. Old ancestor's name is Tianyuan, so that the younger generation will know that you are the founder of the sect. Shi Shuiyan said. Yi Tianyan pondered for a moment, and his eyes lit up. Well, from today onwards, the two forces will merge and officially establish a Heavenly Clouds Mansion, a third-grade force. He officially announced, reaching the perfect agreement. Then they all went out and announced this major event to the public. There was no problem in the spirit race, but it caused a stir in the Jade Sect. How could they not be shocked when a force joined their Jade Sect? Most of the disciples didn't know that these people were from the spirit race, and it was not convenient to reveal their identity for the time being. If any disciple leaked it, then they would be in trouble. The identity of the spirit race was very sensitive now, and if an idiot leaked it out, then they would be finished. Therefore, they only knew that a force suddenly joined, but they didn't know the rest. There was still a bit of rejection in their hearts. Suddenly joining a force was more or less a little xenophobic. But when it was said that the two forces would not interfere with each other, many people's rejection was a little better. This kind of thing still needed time to get used to. And when the time came for Heaven's Top Mansion to join, it also needed time to get used to it. It was obviously unreasonable to have a lot of people join halfway. Heavenly Cloud's Mansion was officially established, and from the task list, the number of people was instantly filled. There were a lot of experts in the spirit race, and even the weakest of them was a third-grade force. Now that they joined, they would definitely become a third-grade force. Chapter 363. At present, in order to complete the main quest, the only thing left is to transfer to Heavenly Border Continent. This can be done at any time, but the problem is that the situation is not very stable right now. If it attracts the attention of the Netherworld Empire, it will not be a good thing. It seems that the quest has to be delayed for the time being. Yi Tianyan thought for a while and said, very well, then we will move to the Heavenly Boundary Continent. Shi Shuiyan and the others who are dealing with things on the side suddenly heard Yi Tianyan's words. What do you mean transfer to Heavenly Border Continent? They are all stunned. They have no idea what Yi Tianyan is talking about. I mean, we will now transfer to Heavenly Border Continent's Heaven's Top Mansion, and officially merge the three major forces to form the strongest third-grade force. Yi Tianyan said with a smile. We just arrived here. What if the Netherworld Empire finds out about this? Yi Qingxian was puzzled. If they find out, then we will kill them all. Yi Tianyan looked up and saw many people looking at him in shock. Of course, I'm not talking about now, but when I come back, we will transfer to Heavenly Border Continent. At that time, even the Netherworld Empire wouldn't dare to do anything to us. Where are you going now, Tianyan? Yi Qingxian was puzzled. I plan to go to Heavenly Dragon Empire. Heavenly Dragon Empire and the Netherworld Empire are mortal enemies, and I know some people there, so I think they will be very happy to cooperate with me. Yi Tianyan had already helped the Heavenly Dragon Empire's goddess, Renjiro. If he could unite with the Heavenly Dragon Empire, then everything would be fine. The most important thing is to complete some quests so that he can continue to level up and gain Crazy Point. As long as he can accumulate 10 million Crazy Point, then he can level up Crazy Mode. At that time, no Void Spirit Stage expert will be able to defeat him. However, he was still short of 4 or 5 million. This was not a small amount. Even if he sold his entire fortune, it would not be enough. He got the Heaven Grade set, but it's not worth much to sell it to the shop. It's always 10,000 Crazy Points. He needs to sell at least a few hundred pieces. However, he currently has less than 10 heaven-level weapons, which means he only has a few 100,000 crazy points. The same goes for heaven-level martial arts. The effect is amazing, but the store doesn't buy it. The price is so low, 10,000 crazy points. If he were to refine pills and sell them, it would be too slow to save up a few million. Moreover, the crazy point was only 1 point. It was more important to get help from the Heavenly Dragon Empire. With the help of the Netherworld Empire, Yi Tianyan would be able to directly transfer his forces to the Netherworld Empire. Going to the Heavenly Dragon Empire? That's very close to here. It's completely connected to the earthly continent. It's just that the Heavenly Dragon Empire is not doing well now, and its power has become quite weak. It seems that something big has happened in the empire. Shi Shuiyin frowned and said. So the Heavenly Dragon Empire has fallen to this point. Yi Tianyan frowned as he remembered Renjiro's hurried figure. It seemed like something big had happened. Yes, I don't know the specific situation, but the situation in the Heavenly Dragon continent is quite chaotic. If you go there, you have to be careful. Do you want us to accompany you? Shi Shuiyin said worriedly. No matter what Yi Tianyan's cultivation was, Shi Shuiyin was still very worried about Yi Tianyan's safety. No need, you can stay here, it's easier to act alone. Yi Tianyan thought for a moment and said to the spirit race Old Ancestor. Old Ancestor, please help me repair all the divine runes in this ancient ruin and strengthen them as much as possible. This heaven's immersing ancient ruins will be our fortress from now on. We can attack and defend. The spirit race Old Ancestor was a divine rune grandmaster. Although his cultivation was not restored, his divine rune grandmaster level was absolutely top-notch. If he could strengthen this heaven's immersing ancient ruins, it would definitely become a lot stronger. No problem, leave it to me. I've thought about it before. If I don't strengthen this divine rune properly, then even a void spirit stage powerhouse wouldn't be able to break it in a short time. The spirit race Old Ancestor was extremely confident. Apart from him, no one else would dare to say such words. Okay, I'll leave this place to you. I'll go to the Heavenly Dragon Empire first. Yi Tianyan looked at them and said. He hoped that when he came back, there would be great changes in this place, so that he could fight against the Netherworld Empire head-on. He couldn't just rely on himself, he needed to rely on everyone's strength. Yi Tianyan had some things to do, such as alchemy and lottery draw. He had already picked 3 soul-accumulating grass, and after consuming all of them he would be able to level up successfully. But before that he wanted to draw a lottery. I have 2 lottery chances, I wonder what I can get. Yi Tianyan rubbed his palms, hoping to get something good. After activating the lottery roulette, it began to spin rapidly. Then he activated the lucky aura, all in order to draw something good. Soon, the needle stopped and pointed at a special item type. Special item type, not bad. Yi Tianyan was very satisfied with this result. The special item type was the second rarest type, but he didn't know what it would be this time. After he opened the box, a bright red blood jade appeared in his inventory. Enhanced blood jade stone. 3 times more than blood jade stone. To put it simply, it was 3 times more than normal blood jade, which was not bad. Yi Tianyan raised his eyebrows. It was better than giving experience pills. If he didn't give tens of millions of experience pills, he wouldn't be interested in them. He needed a lot of experience pills now, and the difficulty of leveling up was too high. Hundreds of thousands of experience pills were not enough to satisfy his appetite. Let's continue, I hope it will give me a surprise. Yi Tianyan spun the lottery roulette again, and soon, the needle stopped and pointed at the godly skill type. Godly skill. Yi Tianyan's heart trembled. He finally got the rarest godly skill type. He excitedly took out the box, opened it, and a godly skill was reflected in his mind. Successfully obtained godly skill. Invisibility. Invisibility. Godly skill. No matter if the user is attacked or attacked, he will not be revealed. Level 1 can last for 5 minutes, cooldown time is 2 hours, can guarantee that under the level of Spirit King, no one will be able to recognize the user. Chapter 364. Once he got the enhanced version of Blood Jade, and the other time he got the divine skill, it was perfect. Either way, it was the best, especially the blood jade. It was like a god's help to him. If he could use it to engrave the heaven and earth divine rune, he would be able to quickly replenish it. The key point is that with the tyrant pattern paper, the meaning is completely different. The effect of the tyrant pattern paper is simple and crude, that is to enhance the effect by 3 times. It means that when the two are superimposed, it will become 15 times more powerful, heaven-defying. If he sticks it on his body, it will be 15 times more powerful. It's scary just thinking about it. Coupled with the crazy mode, equipment and so on, he can imagine how powerful he is. The divine skill invisibility is also a pleasant surprise. Anyone under Spirit King realm can't find him. The key is that the attack will not be visible, which means that no matter how he attacks, he is not afraid of being seen. Usually he would use a concealment divine talisman, or something like that. As long as he attacked or moved, he would quickly reveal himself. But this divine skill is different. It is definitely a treasure for assassination, or a divine skill for escape. But there are still some shortcomings. If anyone under Spirit King realm can see through this invisibility, how many people can be Spirit King realm? So for now, it can be said that Sure Woody's existence is not to worry about being discovered. Sure enough, the enhanced version of the lottery roulette is really good. If I have more crazy points, I will definitely draw a lot. Tianyan shook his head. He really wanted to draw a lot, for example, 12 times. But now he needs crazy points to level up, otherwise he really wanted to draw a lot more. After putting away these items, he started to refine the soul accumulating pill. At first he started to refine the soul accumulating pill at the 5th refinement level. The 3 stalks of soul accumulating grass more or less wanted to try the 5th refinement. After all, the experience gained was too tempting. Bang! When refining the accumulating soul pill, there was an explosion when the pill was condensing, causing the pill to explode. It failed. This time, God didn't completely favor him, he finally failed. 60% success rate is too low, although it is more than 50% success rate, but the failure rate is still not low. He encountered it. There is no other way. Looks like God isn't on my side this time. Tianyan shook his head and started to concoct the 4th refinement level soul accumulating pill. The remaining 2 were concocted into the 4th refinement level soul accumulating pill. He didn't dare to attempt the 5th refinement level soul accumulating pill. If he failed, he wouldn't be able to level up. Ding! Successfully refined the accumulating soul pill. Gained 500,000 experience points. Alchemy proficiency gained 500 points. Ding! You have successfully refined the soul accumulating pill multiple times. The success rate of refining the soul accumulating pill has increased by 1 level. At this time, a notification popped up. Unknowingly, the success rate of concocting the soul accumulating pill had increased. The success rate of the 4th refinement of the soul accumulating pill had reached 100%, and the success rate of the 5th refinement had risen to 70%. It seemed that if he refined more, he would be able to increase his success rate instead of being stuck at this level. In the later stages, he just needed to concoct more pills. Even if he didn't raise his level, his success rate would still increase. As long as he concocted more pills, his success rate would increase. If he were to rely on leveling up his mastery to increase his success rate, it would take a long time. The system's practice makes perfect was also applicable to concocting pills. If I concoct more pills, my success rate will increase. Tianyan shook his head and sighed. Will there be enough accumulating soul grass for me to concoct? He swallowed all the accumulating soul pills he had concocted, and then a pleasant voice sounded. Congratulations to player Tianyan for successfully breaking through to core transformation stage level 8. Hundreds of millions of experience points allowed him to level up easily. But from now on, there was no more accumulating soul grass. He didn't know if there was any accumulating soul grass in the Heavenly Dragon Empire. Tianyan then began to concoct the spirit congealing pill. This was a pill used to cultivate strong cultivators. He had spent a lot of money to buy it for Heavenly Jade Sect. With his proficiency in alchemy, he quickly concocted several batches of spirit congealing pill. It was enough for dozens of core condensation stage cultivators to cultivate. If one's cultivation was not high enough, the effect of this pill would not be great. It's almost time for me to go to the Heavenly Dragon Empire. When Yi Tianyan got up and was about to leave, Yi Qingxian was already waiting outside the door. Yi Tianyan saw her red eyes and didn't know what was going on. What's wrong? Yi Tianyan was confused. The Spirit Race Forest was destroyed by the Netherworld Empire, including the Spirit Tower. The forest was also burned. Yi Qingshuan's silver eyes were filled with anger and sadness. The forest was the place where they had lived for many years. It was very painful for them to be destroyed. It's okay, the whole Netherworld Empire will be buried with us. Yi Tianyan's eyes flashed. The Netherworld Empire was really ruthless. They destroyed the place when they couldn't find anyone. He didn't expect that they would actually do it. Yes. Yi Qingxian nodded. Spirit King, are you ready to leave? Yes, I don't have much time. If they find out something, it will be very troublesome. Yi Tianyan knew that they were safe for the time being, but it didn't mean that they wouldn't find out later. There was no such thing as an impenetrable wall in the world. As for how long they could hide, Yi Tianyan didn't know. After all, they were moving here, so they would be found out sooner or later. Yi Qingxian nodded and didn't say anything. Immediately after Yi Tianyan said a few words, he was ready to leave. When he was about to leave, he saw Shi Shuiyin standing at the door. The white figure still looks so beautiful. Aunt! Yi Tianyan came to her side, smelling the familiar fragrance. Let him have a feeling of peace of mind. Shi Shuiyin's cultivation had improved again. It should be said that all the disciples of Heavenly Jade Sect had made great progress. Are you ready to leave? Shi Shuiyin turned her head and looked at Yi Tianyan with melancholy in her eyes. Yes, as soon as possible. We can't continue to delay. Yi Tianyan looked at her beautiful face and said, Aunt, you have lost weight. You have worked hard these days. He can see that Shi Shuiyin is more haggard than before. It's obvious that she worked a lot day and night, and she looks more haggard. Compared to you, it is nothing. Shi Shuiyin smiled slightly. I believe that with you, the sect will become more and more glorious. Yes, I will make the sect more and more powerful. No one will dare to bully our heavenly cloud mansion. Yi Tianyan's eyes were firm. He had always been aiming for this goal. If he was too weak, he would be bullied, so he must become stronger. I believe you can do it. Shi Shuiyin smiled. It's getting late. Go and come back quickly. I will wait for you here. Well, I will be back soon. This is Spirit Congealing Pill. If you take it in Spirit Refinement late stage, it will be easier to break through to Core Condensation stage. Yi Tianyan took out a few bottles of pills and handed them to Shi Shuiyin. Spirit Congealing Pill? This is a very rare pill recipe. How did you get it? Shi Shuiyin was surprised. I found it easily. Then I will go first. Yi Tianyan smiled brightly and flew away. Chapter 365. After Yi Tianyan left, he quickly went to the Heavenly Dragon Continent. The Heavenly Dragon Continent was quite close to the Earthly Border Continent. So it didn't take long for him to reach the Heavenly Dragon Continent. I don't know what happened to Renjiro now. He remembered the previous chain quest. After tasting the sweetness, he knew that the chain quest reward is extremely high. If he can complete it, he will definitely get amazing rewards. After checking the chain quest, it was displayed. Hidden chain quest help the Empire's goddess reward. 50 million EXP, 1 million crazy point, 200 Renjiro's favorability. Empire's guardian god title. This was the next quest. Now he could prepare to complete it. However, the system wouldn't give him any instructions on how to go or how to do it. Only by finding Renjiro can he continue to complete this chain quest. Although Xiaoqin did not have any directions, knowing that it was the Heavenly Dragon Empire was enough. If he went there, he would naturally be able to find it. As he flew, he soon arrived at the Heavenly Dragon Continent. This place is much richer than the Earthly Border Continent. It can be said that it is on the same level as the Nether Continent. Both of them choose a place with very rich spiritual energy to build their empire. But when he came to this area, it is obviously too chaotic. Along the way, he can see a lot of robbers. In a fit of rage, He went down to help clean up the bandits, temporarily bringing peace to the village. Thank you, great hero. Thank you for your help. The villagers kneeled in front of Yi Tianyan. Tears were streaming down their faces. They almost lost all their belongings and people. It's okay, I just want to ask, is it like this here? Is there no one in the Heavenly Dragon Empire to take care of this? Yi Tianyan frowned. He had heard before that this place is chaotic, but he didn't expect it to be this chaotic. Now that the Heavenly Dragon Empire is in a mess, how can there be time to take care of us? Sigh, it is hard for us ordinary people. Yes, the Heavenly Dragon Empire is in a mess now. They used to send soldiers to manage the surrounding situation, but now there is no one to help. We're planning to move to the Earthrealm continent. We can't survive here. They all shook their heads and felt hopeless towards the Heavenly Dragon Empire. If they continued to stay here, they would definitely die. They were often robbed by bandits, so there was no point in accumulating them. Looks like the current situation is indeed very serious. Yi Tianyan nodded his head, then turned around and flew away. It seemed like he didn't expect the Heavenly Dragon Empire to help him. It would be good if the Heavenly Dragon Empire didn't fall. Soon after, he passed through many cities. Most of the cities seemed to have no problems. These were all cultivators, and they were quite good at maintaining order. As for the ordinary people outside, it was different. Without any cultivation, they could only be bullied. Although the situation isn't too good, at least it's not chaotic to the point where people can't live. Yi Tianyan chose a city to land in. He was not in a hurry to go to the imperial capital. He wanted to inquire about the situation of the Heavenly Dragon Empire first. He wanted to see the details of the current situation. He would not be able to obtain any information from those villages. Looking up, the city was quite big. There was a plaque hanging on the city gate, which read, Dragon Tail City. When he was about to enter the city gate, the guard immediately stopped him. He looked at him coldly and said, The fee to enter is 10 spirit stones. 10 spirit stones? Yi Tianyan frowned. This price is not low, although it is not a problem for him. But in this chaotic situation, 10 spirit stones is a bit too expensive. If you can't afford it, then get out of here. 10 spirit stones and you still hesitate for so long. The guard was very impatient when he saw Yi Tianyan procrastinating. Yi Tianyan took out 10 spirit stones and threw them to the guard. After the guard caught them, he sneered. Now it's 15 spirit stones. You still need 5 spirit stones. Suddenly raising the price, Yi Tianyan's eyes flashed with coldness. He didn't speak. Instead, he took out 5 more spirit stones and threw it to the guard. Not bad, not bad. You're quite obedient. Go in. The guard laughed, indicating that he could go in. Yi Tianyan lifted his foot and walked in, without arguing with the guard. After he left, the two guards looked at each other and smiled. Hee hee, these little brats. Just by scaring them, they paid 5 spirit stones. Let's go have a drink later. That's right. It's so chaotic outside. Would they dare to not pay? This is our territory. Don't come in if you dare. The two of them laughed, their eyes full of pride. Kid, what are you looking at? Your 20 spirit stones. The guard glared at a young man who was about to enter. What? 20 spirit stones? The one just now was at most 15 spirit stones. I said your 20 spirit stones. Don't come in if you dare. The guard sneered. Aye. The young man was frightened by the guard's gaze. He could only choose to obediently take out his money. Just when he was about to take out his money, the two guards suddenly screamed and fell to the ground. They were paralyzed, unable to move. This scene shocked the surrounding people. The two guards were inexplicably sent flying, and it seemed like they were seriously injured. However, they took this opportunity to quickly sneak into the city. They didn't dare to stay here for long. Otherwise, they would get into trouble. At the same time, on the other side of the city wall, a figure appeared. It was Yi Tianyan. Then the 15 spirit stones will be your medical expenses. Yi Tianyan smiled indifferently. Those who provoked him would naturally not have a good ending. However, from this point, it could be seen that the seemingly peaceful city was also not easy to live in. These guards were too arrogant. They raised the price on the spot. It was completely because of the chaos outside that they increased the price. If they didn't like someone, they would immediately increase the price. If they had the ability, then don't come in. In order to save this bit of money, they didn't even know how they died outside. Then he found a restaurant, went in, ordered some good wine, and sat on the side to drink. This was the best place to inquire about information. There were many cultivators coming and going, so it was easy to hear some news. As soon as he sat down, he immediately heard some gossip. The imperial city is in chaos now. I heard that the empire's princess has returned, causing the two factions to fight. The empire's princess is back? Is she the goddess? What's the point of suddenly coming back? Her brother is dead, so what power does she have? I'm not sure about that. There are still many forces standing by her side. However, the situation is not good. After all, Prime Minister Long has the highest prestige. If it weren't for the empire's princess, he would have already become the emperor. Isn't she courting death by coming back? Isn't that right? It's Prime Minister Long's world now. The empire's princess wants to become the empire's goddess and rule the entire empire. Isn't this a slap in Prime Minister Long's face? I suspect that the empire's princess won't be able to live for long. Shu, don't speak so loudly. If someone hears you, I will be implicated. Chapter 366. Rinjiro was the princess of the Heavenly Dragon Empire. Princess was a princess, and goddess was a goddess. Goddess was a title that could only be given to the empress. Rinjiro or the empress. Bang! 100 spirit stones fell on the table. The cultivators who were talking were stunned. They immediately looked at Tianyan and felt a little puzzled. Tell me everything you know. Whoever tells me the truth, these 100 spirit stones will belong to you. Tianyan said indifferently. Tell me what you know. They looked at the 100 spirit stones and swallowed. Although it was not a lot, it was still money. Who knows about the empire? The more details, the better. I will give the more spirit stones to the person who tells me more. Tianyan looked at them and said, So you want to know about the empire? I just came back from the empire and I know the best. I just came back from there too. I know more. Bullshit. You have been here for a long time. How can you say that you just came back from the empire? They had just said a few words, and they immediately quarreled with each other. Sure enough, people die for wealth and birds die for food. In order to obtain this bit of spiritual knowledge, they began to blame each other. Stop! Tianyan looked at the man who just came back from the empire, and said in a deep voice. One by one you speak first. I want to know everything about the imperial capital, including the princess's situation. Tell me everything you know. So you want to know about the princess? That's much simpler. The princess just came back some time ago and immediately caused chaos in Prime Minister Long's faction. Prime Minister Long was originally going to ascend to the throne, but now the princess came back and wants to be the goddess. This is a slap in Prime Minister Long's face. As for the faction that supports the princess, it is the faction of the princess's brother, the former great Emperor Long. Of course, they support the princess to become the goddess. This is the purest bloodline of the Ren family, and the purest bloodline of the Heavenly Dragon. How can they not support her? But Prime Minister Long's Heavenly Dragon bloodline is also not weak. I heard that he is a relative of the princess? As expected, this man knew quite a lot. He talked about quite a lot of things. Perhaps this was not a secret, at least in this area. Very few people knew the details. It seems like you only know the surface information. I know more details. The cultivator next to him snorted and said, The most important thing is that the princess has the purest Heavenly Dragon bloodline, and can control the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure. Without being able to control the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure, it was impossible to become a great emperor. In my opinion, the princess must be in great danger now. Prime Minister Long must not be willing to give up his position to the princess, so he will find an opportunity to kill the princess. You're just guessing. Would they really dare to fight? I'm guessing? You're talking nonsense. The two of them almost got into a fight. They had a good relationship before, but in the blink of an eye, they had quarreled. It could only be said that their relationship was not very deep to begin with. They just met on the road and had a chat here. When it came to the matter of remuneration, they immediately began to fight over it. Yi Tianyan fell into deep thought at the side. What the two of them had said was somewhat believable. After a little deduction, it wasn't completely untrustworthy. That's enough. 100 taels of spirit stones each. Yi Tianyan took out an extra 100 taels of spirit stones and put it on the table. He was a generous person. As long as they could provide good information, he would give them a little more. The two of them looked at each other and hurriedly took their share. Their faces were like blooming flowers. Thank you, sir. They were all grinning from ear to ear. They could get a lot of spirit stones just by saying a few words. How could they not be happy? Sir, you're not planning to support the princess, are you? One of the cultivators asked. Why do you say that? A cold light flashed in Yi Tianyan's eyes. Although he is now in disguise, so he won't be recognized, but if they do something bad to him, then don't blame him for being impolite. Now, the two factions are constantly attracting forces from all sides and forming their own factions. If you want to support the princess's faction, Dragon Tail City just happens to recruit strong cultivators. You can go and sign up. He smiled. It was a free piece of information. That's not necessary. Yi Tianyan smiled and turned around to leave. He didn't want to stay any longer. The two of them looked at each other and shrugged their shoulders. No matter what happened to Yi Tianyan, it had nothing to do with them. After leaving, he quickly flew to the Imperial City. He didn't want to waste any more time here. After a few days of flying, he finally arrived at the center of the Heavenly Dragon continent, the Imperial City of Heavenly Dragon. This was the Imperial City of Heavenly Dragon Empire. It was the most prosperous area of the Heavenly Dragon Empire. Countless strong cultivators gathered here. However, when Yi Tianyan was about to fly to the Imperial City, a strong cultivator beside him shouted, "Friend, where do you want to go?" Yi Tianyan glanced at the strong cultivator. A core transformation stage cultivator was flying towards him. Unless he was an important person in the Imperial City, no one was allowed to fly here. It was obvious that the core transformation stage cultivator was here to interrogate him. In order not to cause unnecessary misunderstanding, Yi Tianyan smiled slightly, and his body immediately disappeared in the air, disappeared from the sight of the guard. Where is he? The guard was stunned. When he flew to the area where Yi Tianyan was, he found that Yi Tianyan had suddenly disappeared. After flying around, he couldn't find Yi Tianyan. This made him confused. Strange, where is that person? Why did he suddenly disappear? Did I see wrongly? The core transformation stage cultivator scratched his head and flew back to the city wall with a puzzled expression. Yi Tianyan didn't do anything. He just turned invisible. He didn't want to waste time, so he directly flew into the Imperial City. If he went through the checkpoints one by one, he didn't know when he would be able to enter the Imperial City. He told the guards that he wanted to see the princess. Would they let him in so easily? Even if he went in, he would have to report to the guards. It was too troublesome. Therefore, it was best to fly in directly. In 5 minutes, he would be able to enter the Imperial City. In the blink of an eye, he flew into the Imperial City. The sky was covered with divine inscriptions, which could prevent enemies from invading from the sky. However, he didn't need to do that. He could just enter the Imperial City through the main gate. The guards wouldn't be able to see him. Unless it was a powerful spirit king, it would be difficult to see where he was. After entering the Imperial City, he quickly flew into the Imperial City and searched for Renjiro. After a while, he found Renjiro and his face changed. Chapter 367. In the Heavenly Dragon Palace, Renjiro sat on the throne and looked coldly at the ministers who were trying to persuade Renjiro. Princess, Prime Minister Long was already in control of the Heavenly Dragon Empire before this. Now that you have changed it, it is tantamount to taking away his foundation. At that time, he will definitely send troops to attack us. One of the ministers said. Bullshit. What foundation? The Heavenly Dragon Empire belongs to the Ren family. Is there anything wrong with getting rid of unnecessary things? Another minister was unhappy and retorted. After the death of the great emperor, Prime Minister Long has been trying to take away our power. He even wants to assign us to the border to manage those dilapidated cities. Obviously, he wants us to be unable to manage this city anymore. That's right. Those of us who have always supported the main faction have lost our power. We can't even interfere in the management of the Heavenly Dragon Empire. If the princess did not come back, we would have been assigned to the border to fight against the Netherworld Empire. Yes, the princess did not do anything wrong. Her prestige is still there. Don't you see that many people are supporting the princess? Even after a few years, the princess' prestige is still very stable. There is no doubt that the princess will become the goddess. This is also the Run clan's bloodline. Can Prime Minister Long control the Heavenly Dragon secret treasure? The Heavenly Dragon secret treasure is the symbol of our fight against the Netherworld Empire. That's not what I mean. I just want to adopt a soft policy. Prime Minister Long's prestige is not low now. He used his power to suppress many rebels, and even the experts of the Netherworld Empire. It's a bit too much to just get rid of them. After all, Prime Minister Long is the princess's uncle. One by one, the ministers started arguing. Renjiro furrowed her brows. Stop arguing. I have made up my mind. There are some things that need to be changed. As for Prime Minister Long, we will talk about it when he comes back. Renjiro said. Princess, this will easily arouse the public's anger. Prime Minister Long is leading the army to resist the pressure of the Netherworld Empire. If you disintegrate his power here, won't people talk about it? One of the ministers hurriedly said. There weren't many ministers present, only 8 or 9 in total. Most of them supported Renjiro, and only a few of them didn't. They felt that she had gone too far. Prime Minister Long was working hard outside, but Renjiro was here to take away Prime Minister Long's power, and assign some people who had a close relationship with Prime Minister Long to other places. Especially when Renjiro's reputation was gradually declining, doing so would undoubtedly be pushing himself into a pit of fire. Renjiro's prestige was still there, but it was not as high as Prime Minister Long's. After sleeping for so long, many people were wondering why she had disappeared, and where she had been all these years. There's no need to say anything more. I've already said it. I've already made up my mind. Did you just ignore my words? Renjiro glared coldly at those who had objected. Her domineering gaze caused the official's heart to tremble, and he lowered his head, not daring to look her in the eye. He swallowed his words, not daring to utter a single word. Soon after, she stood up and said, I'm tired. I want to rest for a while. Everyone, please leave. Yes, Princess. They all retreated one after another. They didn't stay here any longer, and they didn't dare to stay here any longer. Renjiro turned around and walked back through the long corridor. Just as she was about to return to her dormitory, a few black shadows flashed quickly and blocked her way. Princess, please come with us. One of the black-clothed men walked out. As soon as his voice fell, a lot of black fog surged in her direction, instantly covering the area where she was standing. Are these people sent by Prime Minister Long? Why does he send people again and again? Isn't there anything new? Renjiro's eyes flashed with killing intent. She stretched out her hand, and a heavenly dragon's power was released from her body. Roar! A heavenly dragon was released from her body and whistled in all directions, surrounding her body and preventing the surrounding black fog from approaching. As expected of the heavenly dragon's power, even the poisonous fog can't get close to her. If it was an ordinary cultivator, they would have already been invaded. The leader of the black-clothed men smiled faintly and said, But don't worry, this time it will be very new. Following that, 2 figures flashed out of the black fog. They held long whips in their hands and charged toward Yongling. Get lost. Renjiro had already gathered her strength. She stomped on the ground, and the heavenly dragon's power roared around her. The whole space around her shook, as if it was going to collapse at any time. When the heavenly dragon's power wanted to shake off the attacking power, the long whip actually locked the heavenly dragon's power, forcibly binding the whistling heavenly dragon's power. No matter how hard the heavenly dragon struggled, it couldn't break free from the rope. Oh, the dragon snaring lasso? I don't know where you came up with such a stupid idea. You want to use this trash to tie me up? Renjiro smiled faintly. Princess, you are too naive. A mocking smile appeared on the face of the black figure under the veil. Following that, the rope that tied up the heavenly dragon's power began to release black energy. It quickly seeped into the heavenly dragon, trying to corrode it. Under the corrosion, the heavenly dragon's power roared in pain. Even Renjiro's face darkened. The heavenly dragon's power was no ordinary power. It was the power of her soul. It could be said that the power connected to her was not a void spirit stage phantom. Therefore, if she was attacked, she would suffer the same damage. This is the dragon-slaying poison. Renjiro's expression changed. Prime Minister Long gave it to you, right? Hehe, you don't need to know that. Today you will have to come with us. There is no need for you to meddle too much in the affairs of the palace. Just follow us back. The man in black sneered. Under the influence of the dragon-slaying poison, Renjiro's strength rapidly weakened. Naturally, she wouldn't give up without a fight. A dragon blade appeared in her hand, and she was about to attack. Suddenly, a figure rushed out and pressed down on the man in black who had tied up Renjiro with the dragon-snaring lasso. He was flattened to the ground. He didn't even have time to scream before he stopped breathing. The sudden change stunned everyone. Without any warning, a powerhouse had charged over and killed his companion in an instant. Although his cultivation was not high, he was at least at the peak of the spirit core stage, but he was flattened by a single kick. Who are you? The man in black shouted angrily. So many people bullied my sister. As her brother, I had to show up. Itianyan said. But his words shocked everyone. Chapter 368. Brother, are you the great Emperor Ren? No, the great Emperor Ren is dead. You can't be the great Emperor Ren. Who are you? The black-clothed man looked at him from head to toe. He felt pressured because he couldn't see through Itianyan's cultivation. His cultivation was at the 6th level of the core transformation stage. However, he felt a sense of fear when he faced Itianyan. Although Itianyan didn't attack him, his heart trembled. He felt as if he was facing a ferocious beast that was about to pounce on him at any time. The next moment, Itianyan didn't answer him with words but with his fist. His body flickered, and in the next moment, he kicked the other black-clothed man who used the dragon-snaring lasso. The other black-clothed man was sent flying. The black-clothed man smashed into the wall and fell to the ground. Renjiro was shocked by Itianyan's domineering aura. Most importantly, she had never seen this man in front of her before. He claimed to be her brother, which was very confusing. While she was confused, Itianyan had already rushed towards the black-clothed leader and punched him. Retreat! Retreat! The black-clothed man turned around and tried to escape when he saw Itianyan rushing towards him. A cloud of black smoke exploded between them, forming a fog that allowed them to escape. Since you're here, don't leave so quickly. Come back. However, it was too late. Itianyan stretched out his hand and pulled the black-clothed man out of the black smoke. He threw the black-clothed man into the air and kicked him in his dantian. Bang! The black-robed man grunted and was sent flying. He landed beside Renjiro and clutched his stomach. His face was ashen. You destroyed my dantian and crippled my cultivation, he said. A 6th level core transformation stage cultivator was easily crushed like a chicken. Even his cultivation was easily destroyed. It wasn't difficult at all for him to defeat Itianyan. Even General Long was crushed by him. Not to mention that his cultivation was a level higher than this black-robed man's. Following that, a few more black-clothed men were dragged back and kicked away. Their bodies were plastered to the ground, and they were no longer breathing. Successfully killed assassin. Reward, 260. 000 EXP. 3,300 crazy point, 200 SPs. Obtain Dark Shadow Steps, Dark Shadow Flash. Items obtained: Shadow Blade, Dragon Binding Rope, Dragon Killing Poison. Ding successfully killed assassin, gained 270,000 experience. One by one, the assassins were killed, and the items that they dropped when they were killed left him dumbfounded. Just like the Netherworld Empire's Shadow Guards, the Dark Shadow Steps technique was also cultivated. Could it be that all martial arts were interlinked? However, he didn't stop and continued to drag back the men in black who wanted to escape. Apart from the leader, the rest were killed with a kick or a punch without mercy. Only the strongest would be left. Even if the rest of the soldiers didn't commit suicide, they wouldn't be able to get anything out of them. Their status was low, so don't expect to get half a word out of them. In an instant, all of them were killed. Tianyan stepped in front of the black-clothed man, reached out and pulled off the black cloth on his face, revealing his true face. "General Wang, it's you," Renjiro said coldly when she saw the middle-aged man. "Yes, it's me." General Wang let out a cold smile. "I didn't expect you to have such a helper. It's our mistake. Princess, I advise you to obediently hand over the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure and retire. Don't fight for the throne of the great emperor, or else you will die." "Die?" Renjiro sneered. "My brother's death is mostly related to you, right? Just based on this point. Even if I'm alone and weak, the result will be death. I'll drag you all down with me." This is just her speculation, but no one knows whether it's true or not. If it was known that this was related to Prime Minister Long, then Prime Minister Long's reputation would certainly plummet, and people would despise him. When the great Emperor Ren was still alive, the Heavenly Dragon Empire was quite glorious. But now it has fallen, and is being attacked by the Netherworld Empire again and again. "Haha, you can't fight Prime Minister Long." General Wang couldn't stop laughing. Following that, a silver light flickered and fiercely pierced into his chest, causing him to widen his eyes and stare at her fiercely. "Whether I can fight him or not, that's a matter of the future. At least go and apologize to my brother first," Renjiro said coldly. "You." General Wang's eyes widened, and then his head tilted to the side. Successfully killed General Wang. Reward, 390,000 EXP. Reward, 4,600 crazy points, 200 SPs. Reward, martial arts, dark shadow step, wave cloud palm, shadowless whip. Reward, dragon snaring rope, dragon killing poison. Renjiro killed General Wang, and he also got EXP. A moment later, guards rushed in from outside, having been affected by the sounds of fighting here. Without the black mist, the energy of the battle was transmitted to the outside, so they quickly came to protect the emperor. It was just that they had rushed over only after everyone had died. It was already too late. "Protect the princess." The guards quickly surrounded Tianyan and pointed their spears at him. "Princess, are you okay?" one of the guards asked worriedly. "It's fine. Put down your weapons. He's not an assassin. The assassins have already been dealt with. Most of them were helped by him," Renjiro calmly said. "Clear these corpses. As for this General Wang, hang him outside the city gates as a warning to everyone. Tell them that he tried to assassinate me, and I killed him." "It's really General Wang," the guards gasped. After seeing it clearly, they realized that General Wang really came to assassinate Tianyan. Soon after, they cleared up the corpses one after another. However, a few guards did not leave and stood guard at the side. "You can leave now. There's nothing for you to do here." Renjiro waved her hand and signaled them to leave. "Yes, princess." The guards looked at Tianyan and didn't say anything. After everyone left, Renjiro's body slightly swayed, but Tianyan supported her and said, "Are you okay? The poison seems to have entered your body." "I'm fine." Renjiro inadvertently moved away from Tianyan's arms. She immediately looked at him and said, "Who are you? Why did you choose to help me? Didn't you call me brother before?" Tianyan smiled indifferently and took off the mask, revealing his true face. "Brother?" Renjiro was shocked when she saw Tianyan's face. But it seems that the poison is too deep. Tianyan supported her and said, "Don't force yourself. I'll help you inside." Chapter 369. Tianyan helped Renjiro into the dormitory. This dormitory is very normal. There is no style. It is just a very ordinary dormitory. Tianyan let her lie down and said, "It seems that the poison is quite powerful. It only took a little bit to weaken you so much." This is the dragon-slaying poison. It has a strong restraining effect on dragons. Although it is not fatal, it can greatly suppress their strength. Dragon-slaying poison is relatively rare. I didn't expect Prime Minister Long to have it. Renjiro shook her head. Her face was a little pale. But it's not a big problem. I'll be fine after a little relief. Let me see what kind of poison it is. It's fine now, but if it happens again, it will be troublesome. Yi Tianyan shook his head. He reached out his hand and made a small cut on Renjiro's body. A drop of black blood flowed into his hand. Then he began to analyze it. Analyzing the dragon-slaying poison. Successfully analyzed the ingredients. There are 1 tail of dragon soul flower, 2 tails of dragon poison grass. He had the dragon-slaying poison in his body, but he wanted to take a closer look at the poison in Renjiro's body. He wanted to know how deep the poison was so that he could make a strong antidote. Different degrees of poison required different effects of the antidote. It was not a good thing to give too much information. It's hard to tell. The dragon-slaying poison is rare. Different people make it, and the ratio is different. So, if I slow down, the situation will be much better. Renjiro's face was slightly pale. Fortunately, there was less poison in her body. Just lie down. Don't talk so much. Yi Tianyan glared at her, and motioned for her to lie down. Then he took out the purple fire divine furnace and began to refine the pill. Previously there was a problem with the poisonous pill, so this time, he had a lot of spiritual herbs on him. They were not very precious materials, but they were enough to deal with most poisons. Although the dragon-slaying poison was very strong, he still found a way to cure it. After being stopped by him, Renjiro slowly lay down on the couch and revealed a faint smile. She stared at his serious face and enjoyed a brief moment of peace. After a while he refined a poisonous pill. He handed it to Renjiro and said, "Eat it, and it will detoxify you." So soon? Renjiro was stunned. She thought it would take a long time to refine. She didn't expect it to be done so quickly. Under the 8 times alchemy mode, it was hard not to be fast. In order to cure Renjiro's poison, spending some crazy points is worth it. Alright, just eat it quickly. Yi Tianyan gestured for her to eat it quickly. Renjiro did not suspect anything. She stuffed it into her mouth and swallowed it. A moment later, the speed in her body was quickly eliminated. The effect was quite obvious. It's really gone. The effect is too strong. Brother, how did you do it? Renjiro was deeply shocked. That's simple. I can determine how to get rid of the poison from it. Isn't it amazing? Yi Tianyan smiled faintly and said, I will continue to refine a batch of detoxification pills for you, just in case you fall into their trap and get poisoned by the dragon-killing poison again. Yi Tianyan said as he began to refine a batch of pills. If the poison can't be completely cured, then eat 1 more pill. Brother, are you going to leave soon? Renjiro knew that Yi Tianyan was not her brother, but she didn't know why she called him that way. She felt that Yi Tianyan was like a brother to her. He had been taking care of her for a long time, and now he came to save her. Although she could break through the encirclement without his help, at least he came to help her. How is that possible? I came here to ask for your help. Yi Tianyan said. What help? Renjiro was surprised. To fight against the Netherworld Empire together. But it seems that you are not in a good situation. Not only are you being ostracized, but Prime Minister Long is also eyeing you covetously. I suspect that Prime Minister Long is colluding with the Netherworld Empire. What? Renjiro said. That's not right. Although Prime Minister Long is eyeing the throne of the Great Emperor, he wouldn't collude with the Netherworld Empire. He has killed a lot of people from the Netherworld Empire. Maybe it's just a ruse. The men in black that I dealt with before all know the secret arts of the Netherworld Empire. If that's the case, then I guess I'm wrong. Yi Tianyan said. This. Renjiro was silent for a moment. This was beyond her expectations. After thinking for a moment, she sighed and said, It seems that I can't help you fight against the Netherworld Empire at the moment. The internal situation is quite troublesome. Let's talk about it after I solve it. The Netherworld Empire must be eradicated. We have always been enemies with the Netherworld Empire. Well, I suspect that the Great Emperor run was plotted against by the Netherworld Empire. Tianyan thought for a moment and said, "Then tell me, what is the situation of the Great Emperor Run?" Renjiro didn't say anything. "If it's not convenient, then don't tell me," Tianyan said. "It's not that it's not convenient, but I don't know the details. I'm just guessing." Renjiro sighed. "When I came back, I heard that my eldest brother was dead. He went to the Heavenly Dragon continent to eradicate the demon beasts. I didn't expect that he would never return. I heard that he was killed by a demon beast. Since then he hasn't been back. My eldest brother can't die so easily. Even if the demon beasts in the Heavenly Dragon continent are not weak, they can't trap my eldest brother. Now that I'm back," Prime Minister Long didn't say anything, but judging from the situation, I think it's very likely that Prime Minister Long is the problem. In a sense, Prime Minister Long is my uncle. He should be the Great Emperor. He can't control the secret treasure of the Heavenly Dragon, but my eldest brother can. That's why he can only be the Prime Minister. According to what you're saying, even if I can't control the secret treasure of the Heavenly Dragon, I can still ascend to the throne? Tianyan was puzzled. It's impossible for the Heavenly Dragon Empire to be without a Great Emperor. As long as I have enough prestige, I can still ascend to the throne. Renjiro frowned. But I think it's very likely that my eldest brother is still alive. He's just trapped in the Heavenly Dragon continent. Why do you say that? Tianyan raised his eyebrows. Just now, they wanted to capture me because they want the purest blood essence in my body. If they forcibly snatch it and Prime Minister Long absorbs it, it's not impossible for him to control the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure. Renjiro said solemnly. In any case, Prime Minister Long will never give up the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure. Chapter 370. Tianyan frowned. Renjiro's guess wasn't unreasonable. It wasn't impossible to forcibly absorb the blood essence and turn it into one's own. It could make one's blood essence purer. Even if it wasn't perfect, it would at least be close to it. Moreover, he had to eliminate Renjiro anyway, so it was only natural for him to do so. So the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure has always been here? Tianyan asked. Yes, the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure is in the imperial capital, but without the pure Heavenly Dragon bloodline, no one can take it away. If they killed my eldest brother, they might have extracted his blood essence, and then Prime Minister Long would be able to control the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure. Now that he hasn't succeeded in controlling it, it's possible that he didn't get it. Of course, it's also possible that he absorbed my eldest brother's blood essence, but the blood essence wasn't pure enough. Renjiro couldn't believe that her brother would die in a dangerous situation. Dangerous situations were for those with low cultivation. Those with high cultivation could escape if they couldn't win. Renjiro, as a great emperor, must be at the Void Spirit stage. How could a Void Spirit stage expert die so easily? The key was that Renjiro knew about the dangerous place. Even she wouldn't be in too much danger, let alone her eldest brother. Did you send anyone to explore the dangerous place? Tianyan asked. Yes, but they didn't find any clues. Only the deepest part of the Coiling Dragon Cave was not explored. Those with low cultivation would be courting death. Renjiro shook her head. I wanted to explore it myself, but I still have a lot of things to deal with. I need some helpers to go with me. Coiling Dragon Cave? Tianyan was startled. He remembered the Coiling Dragon treasure map in his inventory. Was it this Coiling Dragon Cave? He immediately opened the Coiling Dragon treasure map in his inventory. A detailed map appeared in front of him, listing the layout of the cave. It was indeed difficult to explore. But with this map, it wouldn't be a problem. He didn't have much time to explore before, but now he had the chance to explore. According to the Coiling Dragon treasure map, if one dug at the destination, they would be able to dig out a treasure. As for what treasure it was, there was no explanation. It only meant that this place was very dangerous, and only cultivators above the Spirit Core stage could go there. He was about to break through to the Void Spirit stage, so it was not a big deal for him. Yes, the Coiling Dragon Cave. Rumor has it that there are countless dragons in the Coiling Dragon Cave, So there must be a lot of dragon skeletons or dragon blood essence. If you can dig them up, you can greatly increase your strength, Renjiro said in a low voice. These are just rumors. We haven't even seen any skeletons, let alone a real dragon. Who knew that a few years ago, a group of very strong demon beasts would suddenly appear and occupy that place? They would often move out to destroy the surrounding cities. Big Brother led a few generals to clear these demonic beasts, but who knew that they would never return? That's a very clear explanation. If this is all an illusion, then it's just an explanation used to confuse the outside world. Yi Tianyan pondered for a moment. Then when do we move out? If you stay here, I won't be any safer than the Coiling Dragon Cave. Originally, I planned to deal with some matters first, then gather some strong people. Now that you're here, you can come with me. There's no need to bring too many people. Renjiro smiled slightly. Then let's set off tomorrow. There's no time to lose. I hope Big Brother is really still alive. If he didn't fall into the hands of Prime Minister Long, then he might be alive. Yi Tianyan can't say anything. This is really hard to say. Ren Long had been missing for several years, not just a few days. The probability of him still being alive was quite low. Of course, it was better than being caught by Prime Minister Long. Let alone a few years, he would probably die in a few days. Yes, I hope he doesn't fall into the hands of Prime Minister Long, Renjiro said worriedly. After the discussion, after Renjiro had calmed down a little, they decided to fly away to the Coiling Dragon Cave the next day. At the same time, General Wang's body was hung outside the city gate, causing a great uproar. No one expected that a dignified general would be a traitor and assassinate the princess. This immediately aroused public anger, and many people pointed their spear at Prime Minister Long, because General Wang was Prime Minister Long's man. The news spread quickly, but the people who came to pacify the Netherworld Empire were even faster. They immediately announced it to the public, and took out a lot of evidence to prove that General Wang was a traitor of the Netherworld Empire, and had nothing to do with Prime Minister Long. After seeing the evidence, many people in the imperial capital realized that General Wang was from the Netherworld Empire. No wonder he tried to assassinate the princess and frame Prime Minister Long. All of a sudden, all the people in the imperial capital were furious. They didn't expect that the real culprit was the Netherworld Empire. Suddenly, the spearhead shifted to the Netherworld Empire, and no one thought that it was Prime Minister Long who sent people to assassinate the princess. Prime Minister Long was the uncle of the princess, and even if he wanted to seize the throne of the great emperor, there was no need for him to assassinate the princess. At the same time, in a secret room, the atmosphere was very quiet. A handsome middle-aged man sat on a dragon throne and drank hot tea. He squinted at the people kneeling on the ground and trembling. He said in a calm and heavy voice, "You are really capable. You almost caused a big problem. If you all pointed your spear at me, I would lose the people's support. How could I control the Heavenly Dragon Empire?" He was Prime Minister Long, a man who could cover the sky with one hand. My lord, this is all an accident. I didn't expect that my big brother would appear out of nowhere and kill General Wang. The minister who was kneeling on the ground was trembling and didn't dare to look at the man in front of him. Big brother? What a joke. Ren Long died in the Coiling Dragon Cave. How can he still be alive? Looks like this lass must have gotten acquainted with this expert from somewhere to help her escape. Prime Minister Long said indifferently. I deliberately created a situation where we are going to fight against the Netherworld Empire, but I didn't expect that you can't even do one thing well. What a bunch of trash. Towards the end of his sentence, he ruthlessly slapped them. A wave of spiritual power slapped through the air, sending the three people kneeling in front of him flying away. Their faces immediately swelled up. The reason why Prime Minister Long didn't stay in the imperial capital was because he wanted to capture Renjiro. Renjiro's sudden disappearance, and the Netherworld Empire's responsibility, had nothing to do with him. I'm sorry, my lord, but they are going to the Coiling Dragon Cave. This is a great opportunity. One of the ministers quickly added. Huh? They are going to the Coiling Dragon Cave? Prime Minister Long froze for a moment, then immediately laughed, a cold light flashing in his eyes. I thought they would hide in the imperial capital, but I didn't expect that they would choose to die. Then don't blame me for not being merciful enough. Send out the 6 dragon sealing generals and trap them for me. But this time, don't disappoint me. I want you alive, not dead. Do you understand? Yes, my lord. As long as they leave the imperial capital, the princess will have no advantage. Chapter 371. Just as Renjiro was about to leave, one of the ministers stopped her. Princess, where are you going? One of the ministers asked. Lord Lu, I'm going to the Coiling Dragon Cave to look for my elder brother. Renjiro said without hiding anything. No, you can't do that. That's where the great Emperor Ren was killed, so you can't go there. Also, you can't leave the imperial capital. If you leave the imperial capital, it'll be even more dangerous. The minister said bitterly. Am I safe here? Didn't I get assassinated before? Renjiro shook her head. I've said it before, I'll go to the Coiling Dragon Cave as soon as everything is settled here. I believe that my elder brother is still alive, he must be trapped there. At least if you stay here, you can use the Heavenly Dragon secret treasure. If you leave the imperial capital, you won't be able to use the Heavenly Dragon secret treasure. Lord Lu's face was full of anxiety. He didn't want her to leave the imperial capital. Yi Tianyan was startled by Renjiro's words. It wasn't surprising that Renjiro could use the Heavenly Dragon secret treasure, but according to Lord Lu, she could use it to protect herself at any time. He remembered that Renjiro wanted to do something to defend herself, but since he came to help, she didn't do anything. If that's the case, then I can't leave the imperial capital for the rest of my life? Renjiro frowned. I must go to the Coiling Dragon Cave, otherwise, I won't be able to rest in peace for the rest of my life. But if you go out, you'll be in danger if Prime Minister Long or the Netherworld Empire tries to assassinate you. Lord Lu said with a straight face. If you want to go out, you'll have to step over my body first. Otherwise, I won't let you leave the imperial capital. Lord Lu. Renjiro wanted to say something, but Yi Tianyan stopped her. It seems that you'll be safer here, am I right? Yi Tianyan asked. That's for sure. I don't know who you are, but thank you for saving the princess. Princess can control the Heavenly Dragon secret treasure. As long as you stay in any corner of the imperial capital and use the Heavenly Dragon secret treasure, you can protect yourself from any attack. Even Void Spirit stage experts are no exception. Lord Lu said gravely. Furthermore, if an enemy comes, as long as the Heavenly Dragon secret treasure is activated, the imperial capital will become indestructible. No one will be able to break through, and we can even summon the Heavenly Dragon to fight. Do you think this is safe? Why didn't you use it before? Yi Tianyan furrowed his brows. This sounded really domineering. I thought I could deal with them, so I didn't use it for the time being. Renjiro finally chose to confess. So that's how it is. Then you stay here. I'll go alone. Yi Tianyan said indifferently. But, there are no buts. Just stay here and wait for my news. Do you understand? Yi Tianyan glared at her, and ordered her like an elder brother. Yes. Renjiro finally obeyed. Lord Lu looked at Yi Tianyan dumbfounded. He didn't know where Yi Tianyan came from to make the princess so obedient. Well, that's good. Stay in a safe place. I'll go to the Coiling Dragon Cave and help you search. As long as the great emperor isn't captured, I'll bring him back to you, Yi Tianyan said solemnly. As long as you stay here, that's enough. Brother. Renjiro nodded, her beautiful eyes flashed. Then you have to be careful. Oh right, this is the Heavenly Dragon Jade Pendant. You can wear it on your body. When you're in danger, you can crush it to temporarily block attacks. Also, this is a portrait of Big Brother. She took out a jade pendant and a painting and handed them over. After Lord Lu saw them, his mouth opened but he didn't say anything. Okay, then I'll accept this painting and this jade pendant. Yi Tianyan immediately knew that this is an extraordinary item. And the appraisal I passed the detailed information to him. Heavenly Dragon Jade Pendant. High-grade sacred artifact. After use, it can form a protective shield that can block attacks from Void Spirit Stage Level 5 and below for the time it takes for a stick of incense to burn. After the effect wears off, it will take a month for the shield to recover. This was a high-grade sacred artifact. No wonder Lord Lu's eyes were wide open. This was Renjiro's personal treasure. If she used it, it could easily block attacks from Void Spirit stage cultivators. But she gave it to Yi Tianyan. Although this thing was good, it didn't mean much to him. It was more important for him to accept her kindness. If he didn't take this jade pendant, he believed that Renjiro wouldn't let him go. It was a portrait of a handsome man who bore a striking resemblance to Renjiro. Then be careful. I know that your cultivation is not low. You're even stronger than me. But you have to be careful. Renjiro said worriedly. She wasn't a fool. When Yi Tianyan saved her, she knew that Yi Tianyan's cultivation was very strong. General Wang was at core transformation stage level 6, but he was killed by Yi Tianyan in one move. There was no doubt that General Wang's cultivation was at least at core transformation stage. No problem. But before that, I will send someone out with me. This way, we can create a false impression that you've left the city with me, Yi Tianyan said with a smile. Let them think that you are going out with me. They will definitely send people to attack us. I don't mind taking this opportunity to kill them all. That's fine, but it will be very dangerous for you, Lord Lu said in a low voice. I can send someone out with you. You can rest assured that the person I send will be prepared to die. There's no need to do that. I have my own way, Yi Tianyan said with a smile. Don't worry, I won't joke around with my life. I still have a lot of things to do. Brother, I'll leave it to you, Renjiro said in a low voice. Yi Tianyan nodded. After borrowing a few clothes, he turned around and left. He did not continue to stay here. Young hero, who are you going to find to help? Lord Lu and the others were a little puzzled. Naturally, Yi Tianyan didn't find anyone to help him. He just used a clone, leaving only one of the clones behind. Then, he put on his own clothes and flew out with himself. As soon as he flew out, he was immediately alerted to the situation. The princess is going out with him. Let's go. 6 figures appeared one after another. They all had a sneer on their faces. Lord Lu gave the order to kill the man and capture the princess. Even Emperor Ren was trapped by us. These two are even easier to deal with. Hee hee, big brother, after we kill them, we will get another reward. Yes, we can live happily for a while. Chapter 372. Yi Tianyan's flying speed was not fast. He flew towards the coiling dragon cave with his doppelganger. After flying for a short distance, he sensed that someone was following him. His perception was much stronger than others at the same level as him. Therefore, he sensed that someone was following him immediately. As expected, as soon as we left the Imperial City, someone followed us. It seems like their cultivation is not weak. Yi Tianyan smiled, and in the next moment he sped up and flew forward at an extremely fast speed, suddenly opening up the distance between them. Did they discover us? Impossible. It is impossible for them to discover us. Let's chase after them. Feng Tian, who was the leader of the group, signaled his companions to chase after Yi Tianyan. The 6 of them flew at a low altitude. They didn't dare to chase after Yi Tianyan too fast. The cultivation of the 6 of them was not low. The lowest cultivation was at level 4 of the core transformation stage. Their cultivation was much weaker than the Void Spirit stage. However, when the 6 of them attacked together, it was a different story. After chasing for a while, they suddenly saw that the princess had disappeared. Only Yi Tianyan was left. They were shocked. They had been following Yi Tianyan for a long time. How could he suddenly disappear? What's going on? We could see him just now. How could he suddenly disappear? Feng Tian was stunned. His companions were also stunned. Their target was Renjiro, not Yi Tianyan. Now that the princess was gone, how were they going to explain themselves? Did they really notice that we were following them? Did they ask the princess to hide? Feng Di rolled his eyes and said hurriedly, Big brother, let's split into 2 groups. One group will surround that young man, and the other group will search around here to see if there is any trace of the princess. That's what I was thinking. Let's split into two groups. As soon as Feng Di's voice fell, he and his companions split into two groups. Feng Tian led the group of 3 to chase after Yi Tianyun, while Feng Di led the group of 3 to search the surrounding area. Feng Tian and his companions immediately surrounded Yi Tianyun. They didn't want to stay behind and hide anymore. They didn't think that it was necessary. The princess had disappeared, which meant that the princess had noticed that they were following her. However, they didn't know that it was because the doppelganger's time was up. As soon as he disappeared, he put away his clothes so that he wouldn't stand out. Young man, where is the princess? Feng Tian looked at Yi Tianyun coldly. Tell me where the princess is, and I will let you die in one piece. Brat, where is the princess? Feng Tian looked at him coldly and said, Tell me where the princess is and I'll leave your corpse intact. Yi Tianyun looked at them and smiled. Tell me the whereabouts of the princess, and I will get the whole body. Do you understand negotiation? Since that's the case, I'll let you know what it means to suffer a fate worse than death. You'll know why it's better to die with an intact corpse. Feng Tian pointed his finger at Huang Xiaolong and said coldly, Capture him. Under the command, the 3 of them quickly moved. As they surrounded the area, they blocked off all possible escape routes. Each of them guarded an area and cooperated very well. It was obvious that they had worked together for many years to be able to achieve this level of skill. Yi Tianyun glanced at them, and detailed information immediately appeared in his eyes. Feng Tian, 7th level of core transformation stage. Equipped with best grade soul tool armor. Holding best grade soul tool weapon. Weakness. No obvious weaknesses. The martial arts he knew included the dragon seal art, and the god-binding lock. Kill it to obtain the dragon sealing art and god-binding rope. Feng Yun. 6th stage of core transformation stage. Every single one of them had a detailed profile. Their cultivations were not low, and they all held top-grade soul tools in their hands. They didn't seem to be holding any weapons in their hands, but upon closer inspection, they were transparent weapons that looked like dragon tendons. They were all wrapped around their hands in preparation to tie him up. Go. The 3 of them immediately surrounded Yi Tianyun, and threw out the god-binding chains in their hands at the same time. In an instant, a large net was formed above Yi Tianyun's head, sealing off all his escape routes. It was the same for those below. They were all surrounded by the god-binding chains. As expected of the god-binding rope, it could even bind a god. But in the next moment, Yi Tianyun has disappeared in place and appeared behind Feng Yun, aiming at his back and slammed a punch on his back. Boom. It was as if Feng Yun had transformed into a meteorite, smashing into the ground from the sky. With a boom sound, he smashed a large pit in the ground. Feng Yun directly collapsed in the big pit. He was killed by Yi Tianyun's punch. Ding! Successfully killed Feng Yun, gaining 390,000 EXP for 500 Crazy Point, 300 SPS. Obtain the martial arts God-binding lock, Dragon Seal art. Obtain the item God-binding rope, Dragon Slaying Poison. After killing Feng Yun, Yi Tianyun took out the Cold Ice Divine Bow and aimed at Feng Tian. Yi Tianyun loosened the bowstring and shot a thick ice arrow at Feng Tian. Wrath of Cold Ice. Not stingy with 5,000 crazy points, Yi Shiwen aimed at Feng Tian, and 50 million combat power swept out. Wherever it went, everything was frozen, as if it was snowing heavily, covering the whole area. Quick, run away. Feng Tian turned around, wanting to escape. However, how could his speed be faster than the fury of ice? In an instant, he was engulfed by the ice, turning into an ice sculpture in mid-air. Even if he melted, he would still be dead. Then he fell from the air to the ground, and with a bang sound, he turned into a pile of ice slag. The water seal on the side was also sucked in by the fury of frost. It was instantly frozen into an ice sculpture. It had only brushed against the edge a little, but it was already frozen into an ice sculpture. 2 kills with 1 arrow. The 3 people who were searching in the back were shocked when they sensed the situation over here. He hurriedly flew over to take a look, only to discover that his 3 companions had been killed in an instant. He was so scared that his guts exploded. This is a trap, run away. They screamed and quickly flew back. 3 of the 6 Feng brothers were killed, and the remaining 3 were not a threat at all. The key is that the strength of the other party is too much. How can they continue to stay here? Where do you want to escape to? Yi Tianyun's ghostly voice sounded in front of them. They didn't know when Yi Tianyun appeared in front of them, but they were scared out of their wits. This. They were scared and retreated again and again. Yi Tianyun was still a mile away from them, and in a blink of an eye, he is already in front of them. Just this speed alone scared them out of their wits. Chapter 373. Yi Tianyun's aura pressed down on them, causing their expressions to change. However, they had been through a lot and quickly calmed down. They exchanged glances with each other, and quickly surrounded him. They didn't choose to run away, but chose to surround him. Dragon Seal Technique. The moment they were surrounded, they immediately displayed their unique skills. The 3 of them released powerful spiritual powers from their bodies and connected them together, forming a dense spiritual power shield. It seemed as if they were completely connected. Generally speaking, for the spiritual energy to be linked together, they had to be very coordinated. If one of them had a little more or a little less spiritual energy, it would immediately cause chaos and they would not be able to link together. If they were to forcibly link together, the stronger one would definitely bring harm to the weaker one. If they could link together like now, their strength would increase greatly and reach a terrifying level. Almost instantly, their combat power rose sharply, reaching a strength of more than 20 million, and it was still rising. This was the strength of their combined strength. When they fused together, it reached a terrifying value. Originally, there were 6 people in a large formation. Now that half of them were gone, its power was naturally weakened. If the 6 of them combined, their strength would be unimaginable. After they displayed it, countless spiritual energy was released from their bodies, forming a dense and strong net that enveloped him. Compared to the God-binding rope from before, it was much denser and was completely woven with spiritual power. Therefore, whether it was in terms of density or strength, it was much more powerful. Previously, Feng Tian and the others had been too careless and thought that Yi Tianyun was weak. Who would have thought that he would kill them in an instant? They did not even have the chance to gather together. Now that they had gathered together, the difference in strength was too great. No matter how much it increased, it would not be able to trap Yi Tianyun. Your strength is not bad. If the 6 of you used it together, you would be able to suppress me. However, it's a pity that you are still too weak. Yi Tianyun sneered and aimed the ice divine bow in his hand at Feng Di. Yi Tianyun shot 3 arrows in a row at Feng Di. After Yi Tianyun's cultivation increased, the power of each arrow was much stronger than before. Even without the ice fury, the power of each arrow had reached more than 20 million spiritual energy. He could easily suppress everything. Dragon Seal. With a roar, the 3 of them released their spiritual energy, and at the same time, they threw out their top-grade soul tool, God-binding rope, to bind the 2 of them. With the 2 stacked together, the power was even stronger. However, they were immediately blasted apart by the 3 arrows. The 3 of them groaned and were sent flying, coughing up blood. Since the 3 of them were connected, if one of them was injured, the other 2 would also be injured. This was the biggest weakness of a joint attack. However, the advantage was the most obvious. Their combined strength would increase by a lot. It was just that Yi Tianyun's strength was too domineering. After the 3 of them were blown away, the net of light that shrouded them disappeared. Yi Tianyun quickly flew out and shot an arrow at the 2 people who fell to the ground. Nailing them to the ground, they are dead now. The system immediately popped up a notification that he had gained experience, letting him know that he had successfully killed them without needing to get close to observe. The remaining one was captured by Yi Tianyun and tied to a tree with the God-binding rope, rendering him immobile. He was already injured, and now that he was tied here he couldn't break free. You killed my brother." The remaining one called Feng Tu rushed towards Yi Tianyun and roared. "Is that so? You killed so many people. Do you understand this kind of affection?" Yi Tianyun looked at him with an indifferent expression. Although he didn't know much about the situation of the 6 of them, judging from their sin value, He believed that they had done a lot of evil things. The most important thing was that the assassins sent to kill them were undoubtedly from Prime Minister Long's side. He would never show mercy to his enemies. "I'm going to kill you," Feng Tu roared, aggravating the injuries in his body. "The 6 of you are quite strong. Who ordered you to assassinate us?" Yi Tianyan asked. "If you want to kill us, then kill us. Don't talk so much nonsense." Feng Tu roared. Naturally, he wouldn't reveal any information. "You don't want to talk? Then it's simple." Yi Tianyan took out a pill and stuffed it into Feng Tu's mouth. Immediately, Feng Tu's face turned black. It was obvious that he was poisoned. "You fed me a poison pill." Feng Tu's complexion immediately turned pale. The poison's effect was truly fast. It immediately took effect. "Yes, isn't this the poison in your body? Now let me feed it to you and see how it tastes." Yi Tianyan sat on the side, waiting for the effect of the poison to spread. Feng Tu began to struggle and scream in pain. The effect of the poison was amazing. It made him suffer a lot. The entire forest was filled with his screams, which constantly spread out in all directions, making one's hair stand on end. As time passed, he became weaker and weaker. The poison had already seeped into his bone marrow. Yi Tianyan didn't show any mercy. They had so many poison pills on their body. Without a doubt, they were used to deal with other people. They must have done this kind of thing many times. He had to pay for what he had done. When he felt that it was about time, Yi Tianyan stood up and grabbed Feng Tu's head. His eyes flashed with a cold light. Soul searching. He immediately used the soul-searching technique. The soul-searching technique wasn't a rare technique. He had already obtained it when he killed cultivators before. The effect was only SOSO, so he didn't use it. Now that the sealed earth was unwilling to tell the truth, he could only rely on soul-searching to see if he could find any useful information. Every bit of information he could find was worth it. Under the condition of the soul-searching technique, Feng Tu trembled unceasingly and started to talk nonsense. I killed the Feng family. I even humiliated their daughter. I killed the Lu family's old man. I killed. This wasn't the information he needed. Soon he found a little bit of information, and that was Renlong was trapped by them. However, he fell into the depths of the coiling dragon cave, and it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. As for other evil deeds, he wasn't interested in them at all. When he wanted to continue the soul-searching technique, Feng Tu was completely dumbfounded. He wasn't dead, but he had become an idiot. There was still a lot of information that he couldn't find, and he only obtained a little bit of information. For example, he was sent by Prime Minister Long, and Renlong was trapped by them, and finally fell into the depths of the coiling dragon cave. This information was less, but it was still useful. He couldn't continue the soul-searching technique anymore. Feng Tu had become an idiot, and his soul was useless, so it was impossible to search for other information. Sure enough, it was Prime Minister Long who sent the 6 brothers to deal with Renlong. "We are really honored." Yi Tianyan loosened his hand and shot an arrow, killing Feng Tuesday. After searching for a while, he turned around and flew towards the coiling dragon cave, not wanting to stay here any longer. It seemed that there was still hope for Renlong to survive. At least he didn't die in their hands. Chapter 374. After this small interlude, Yi Tianyan continued to go to the coiling dragon cave. This time, no one came to stop him. The 6 Fenglong brothers were the strongest assassins. If even they couldn't deal with the target, it meant that the target was too strong. The news of the 6 Fenglong brothers' death couldn't be spread back to the sect as Yi Tianyan had destroyed all the evidence. Only after a few weeks or even a few months, the other side would know that the assassination failed. Otherwise, they would still think that they were still following him. This was what Yi Tianyan wanted. It would buy him a lot of time. When they reacted, Yi Tianyan had already come back from the coiling dragon cave. During this period, Renjiro was safe. He didn't even need to use the Heavenly Dragon secret treasure. The coiling dragon cave was not far from the imperial capital. It would take about a week to get there, but with Yi Tianyan's speed, it would only take him a day to get there. As Yi Tianyan got closer, He found that more and more cultivators were going to the Heavenly Dragon Dangerous Land in groups. Some of them were going alone. It seemed like they didn't care about the danger of the Heavenly Dragon Dangerous Land. Some of them were high and some were low. The lowest was at spirit refinement stage. They were really not afraid of death. The highest cultivation was only at spirit core stage. He didn't see many core transformation stage cultivators. They should have already entered the Heavenly Dragon Dangerous Land. It's quite lively here. Is the Heavenly Dragon Dangerous Land still ahead? Tianyan shook his head. Seeing so many cultivators heading towards the Heavenly Dragon Dangerous Land, he wondered if they were just there to watch the fun. As Tianyan moved forward, he could see that the area was very strange. There was a black cloud hovering in the sky. If he looked closely, he would see that there was a huge dragon hovering in the sky. Just a single dragon covered the entire area, which was enough to show how huge it was. When he was about to fly closer, he immediately felt an extremely strong pressure coming from afar, pressing him down fiercely. As he continued to fly closer, the pressure became stronger and stronger. It was so strong that he couldn't resist it. He had just reached the edge of the Heavenly Dragon Dangerous Land. He could only fly about 2 meters above the ground. It was basically a no-fly zone. With such a low altitude, it was no different from a no-fly zone. This force is so strong. The pressure is too great. If I flew a little higher, I would be pressed down. Tianyan was very curious about this Heavenly Dragon Dangerous Land. He was not weak, but he could only fly 2 meters above the ground. And he could already feel the weight of 1,000,000 pounds pressing down on his body, making it impossible for him to continue flying. When he descended, the pressure would quickly decrease. When he walked on land, the pressure was greatly reduced, but he still felt a very strong sense of pressure. It was at least a few thousand Jin of force. If one's cultivation was too low, they would be crushed to the ground. Unless my cultivation is strong enough and my strength is strong enough, I won't be able to fly. Tianyan could forcibly fly up, but it was pointless at the moment. At most, he would be flying with a force of a few 100,000 Jin, or even 1,000,000 Jin. The higher he flew, the greater the pressure would be. He looked up into the sky, using the appraisal eye to quickly analyze the situation. Heavenly Dragon Dangerous Territory. The sky is filled with the power of the Heavenly Dragon, covering this region. The closer one gets, the greater the pressure. It is not recommended for cultivators lower than 8th level Spirit Refinement Realm to enter. Otherwise they will not be able to walk. In addition, he can accurately see the position in the sky, and how many thousands of Jin of force would be reached. At the top of the clouds, there is a force of nearly 100 million Jin. Who can withstand it? He can only withstand the force of nearly 1,000,000 Jin at most. If he burst out with all his strength, he can fly up to a few dozen meters high at most, but the consumption is too amazing. He is not running away, so there is no need to forcibly fly up. He shifted his gaze back to the Heavenly Dragon Dangerous Land. Apart from the dark environment, there was nothing else that was different. There are flowers and trees, and it doesn't seem particularly dangerous. Except for the pressure from above, there is really not much strange. But this is the outermost area. If it is dangerous, no one would dare to come here. Looking up, he saw a lot of Spirit Refinement Realm cultivators wandering nearby. They did not intend to go in, they just cultivated outside. He was completely treating this place as a cultivation ground. Cultivating in this place while withstanding a considerable amount of gravity could really achieve a certain level of cultivation effect. Tianyan was wondering what kind of situation they are in, but it turns out they are here to cultivate. He was just about to say that this place is so dangerous, but they dare to come here with such low cultivation. They are simply not afraid of death. After he looked at the situation, he walked inside. The surrounding cultivators just glanced at him and ignored him. Cultivators often come here. They are already used to it. The so-called dangerous place is only for the inside. It is not for the outside. As he went deeper, the number of cultivators around him suddenly decreased sharply. There were very few who continued to go deeper, and most of them went in groups. Among them, there are Core Transformation Realm cultivators leading the team, or Spirit Core Realm cultivators leading the team. My name is Su Fei. Is this friend planning to go to the Coiling Dragon Cave with us? At this time, someone suddenly came over and asked. Tianyun looked up and saw a 28 or 29-year-old cultivator at 9th level core condensation. He's not handsome, but he's quite handsome and he looks very approachable. He walked over with a smile on his face. There were other cultivators following them. The one with the highest cultivation was a handsome man at level 2 spirit core stage. He stood there arrogantly. Seeing his companions coming over to pull him, his face showed a bit of displeasure. There is also a female cultivator next to him. Obviously he is the leader. Basically she is too lazy to look at Tianyun. Are you all going to the Coiling Dragon Cave? Tianyun asked. Yes, the most popular place here is the Coiling Dragon Cave. If you find a piece of dragon skeleton, then you will be rich. Su Fei rubbed his palms and smiled. Tianyun frowned. He does not want to go with others. It is meaningless. It is the fastest way to go alone. This friend, don't hesitate. I am quite familiar with this place. If other people go, they may go to a dangerous place, they may get lost. If I lead the way, it will only take half a day to bring you into the Coiling Dragon Cave. Su Fei rubbed his palms and revealed his fox tail. But I only need 1,000 spirit stones to help you reach the Coiling Dragon Cave easily. How about it? Speaking of this, Tianyun suddenly smiled. It turns out that Su Fei is a guide. Chapter 375. Tianyun readily agreed to Su Fei's request, and Su Fei smiled at him with satisfaction. Well, then I welcome you to join us. I promise to take you into the Coiling Dragon Cave. Su Fei did not immediately collect the spirit stones. He will certainly bring them into the Coiling Dragon Cave. If he ran away on the way, who will get them back? Although 1,000 spirit stones is not a lot, but it is also not a small amount. The key point is that no one likes to be played. Tianyun nodded and stood together with the man and woman. After looking at Tianyun for a while, they did not have the slightest intention to talk to him. They just talked to each other. Brother Liang, this time we will enter the Coiling Dragon Cave. Can we find any treasures? The coquettish woman next to him asked in a very sweet voice. Her cultivation is not high, only at 2nd level core condensation, but for her age, it is not bad. Treasures are just incidental. This time we can complete the reward that the princess gave before. If we can find traces of the Run Heavenly Emperor, or even his bones, it will be a big reward. That is much more expensive than any dragon bones. Liang Yuantian disdainfully said. As for the dragon bones, it is completely a legend. It is too difficult to find. Even if there is, it has already been plundered by others. How can we get our turn? Yes, the reward that the princess issued is very high. I heard that there will be sacred tools and so on. If we can find traces of the Run Heavenly Emperor, won't we be rich? Isn't that for sure? Why do you think so many people have come here for? Isn't it to find traces of great Emperor Ren? Liang Yuantian said with a smile. Little Ting, just follow me. I guarantee that you will be safe and sound. Then I will rely on Brother Liang to protect my safety. Huang Ting's tone is charming to the bone. Her whole body is attached to Liang Yuantian's body, treating him as her backer. Liang Yuantian reached out and hugged Huang Ting. He cannot help but look at Tianyun. His face is full of pride. Tianyun didn't even bother to look at him. There were many people like him. Just because they had some ability, they were easily blindly confident, and liked to show off. If it was someone else with a lower cultivation, they might be a little envious, but to him, there was really nothing to be envious of. In terms of appearance, Yi Wei and the others were already ahead above him, not to mention Shi Shuiyun and Yi Qingxian. However, he was more concerned about Renjiro's reward. He remembered that when he was in Dragontail City, he had heard from the people in the restaurant that the princess was gathering experts. It seemed that she was constantly sending experts to explore the Heavenly Dragon dangerous land. Renjiro didn't give up. She didn't have time to come over, so she asked others to help her. As long as he could find a trace or even a corpse, he would be rewarded with an endless stream of rewards. For example, saint artifacts and heaven-tier martial arts were all very tempting. With the announcement of the bounty, the place immediately became lively. Su Fei looked around to see if anyone else was coming. In the following period of time, a few more people entered. However, they were all from teams, and none of them chose to join them. Hurry up, we've been waiting here for a long time. Liang Yuantian said discontentedly. Yeah, Brother Liang and I have been waiting here for a long time. Are you going to lead the way or not? If not, we'll leave by ourselves. Huang Ting also expressed her dissatisfaction. All right, it seems that there's really no one left. Su Fei sighed, then immediately cheered up and said, all right, come with me later. Don't wander around on the way, just follow me. If anything happens, don't blame me, understand? As he spoke, he put away his smile and put on a stern face. His expression was serious. He was talking about something very serious. He wasn't joking at all. All right, we got it. Let's go. Huang Ting waved her hand, signaling him to hurry up. Then she looked at Liang Yuantian and said with a smile, what can happen? With Brother Liang here, everything will be fine. Isn't that for sure? Liang Yuantian was full of arrogance and didn't take it seriously at all. Su Fei looked at them helplessly, then immediately looked at Yi Tianyun and said, friend, you must listen to my instructions, it's very dangerous inside. That's natural, the rest is up to you. Yi Tianyun glanced at the two of them, and didn't bother to pay attention to them. Anyway, their life and death has nothing to do with him. Immediately, Su Fei led them inside. Liang Yuantian and Huang Ting followed behind, and Yi Tianyun walked at the end. They didn't separate too much from each other, keeping a distance of 2 meters. Under Su Fei's leadership, as they went deeper, the pressure became more and more intense. If your cultivation is too low, you have to leave now, otherwise you won't even be able to walk. But those who dare to come in, their cultivation is not lower than core condensation, so Su Fei asked Yi Tianyun if he wants to come with them. In the area where they were just standing, spirit refinement cultivators can't enter at will, unless they want to die, otherwise, they have to stay outside. Along the way, Yi Tianyun looked around. Except for the increased pressure, the other things didn't change. It seems like there is no difference from the outside. But as they go deeper, it gets darker and darker. There are fewer people. Many people don't take this road. Are you leading the wrong way? There doesn't seem to be anyone passing by here. Huang Ting complained from behind. Shoo. Su Fei hurriedly made a shushing gesture, indicating that she should not speak so loudly. The path I'm taking is a shortcut. It's relatively safer. Be quiet along the way. If some demon beasts appear halfway, I won't be able to protect you. His face darkened. Just now, he really wanted to slap this woman's face. Not to mention him, even Yi Tianyun wanted to slap him in the face. Just follow him obediently. What's the point of talking so much? Heavenly Dragon Dangerous Land is very dangerous. As a guide, he doesn't want to die. Huang Ting was completely disdainful, but she still obediently closed her mouth. Su Fei wiped the cold sweat on his forehead, looked around, and continued to lead them inside. After walking for a distance, the place is very gloomy and quiet. There are a lot of spirit grass around, but Su Fei didn't pick any along the way. Huang Ting's eyes lit up, but just when she wanted to pick some, Yi Tianyun's voice came from behind. If you don't want to die, don't go out. The spirit grass and flowers here are not easy to pick. It doesn't matter if you want to die, but don't drag us down. Yi Tianyun said indifferently. Boy, it seems like you have a problem? Liang Yuantian looked at him coldly, ready to fight. What are you doing? It is very dangerous here. Don't pick spirit grass. If you cause something to come out, you won't be able to escape. Su Fei stopped them. Boy. You are lucky. If we were outside, you would have already died. Liang Yuantian looked at him coldly, but didn't do anything. Huang Ting also snorted. She is very dissatisfied with him. Chapter 376. As they went deeper, it became eerily quiet. The only sound they could hear was their footsteps. The deeper they went, the higher the grade of the spirit herbs became. By the time they reached this point, they were at least third-grade spirit herbs. In these dangerous zones, there were many natural treasures. The problem was that they had to stay alive to get them. Brother Liang, That's a 5th-grade spirit fruit, the prolonging fruit. It's priceless. Huang Ting's eyes lit up. She pointed at the fruit tree in the distance, her hands trembling in excitement. It really is the prolonging fruit. If I can pluck it and offer it to the ancestor, I'll be rewarded handsomely. Liang Yuantian was equally excited. The prolonging fruit was priceless outside. It was impossible to obtain it without at least 1,000,000 spirit jade stones. For those who were at the end of their lifespans, the value of the prolonging fruit was unimaginable. Don't move. Su Fei hurriedly advised. You can't simply take things here. It's easy to attract trouble. Cowards. What kind of demonic beasts could there be? There's not a single demonic beast here. It's very quiet. Liang Yuantian said coldly. If you don't dare to take it, I'll go get it myself. Yes, you're too cowardly. What kind of demonic beasts could there be? We've walked so far and there's not a single demonic beast. Huang Ting sneered. Brother Liang, hurry up and go get it. Don't worry about them. I'll give you one last piece of advice. If you're greedy here, only death awaits you. Yi Tianyun said indifferently. You don't have the ability or the guts to say that others are greedy. Opportunities are for those who have the ability and guts, not cowards like you. Liang Yuantian sneered. Don't move. This is the Sky Dragon dangerous zone. Su Fei's advice was futile. Liang Yuantian had already flown over. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed, but he didn't move. He didn't say another word. Su Fei wanted to stop him, but his cultivation was not as high as Liang Yuantian's. Liang Yuantian's eyes were already filled with greed for the longevity-extending fruit. He simply wouldn't listen to any advice. He didn't think there was any danger along the way, so why wouldn't he take the benefits? When he flew to this tree, and was about to climb up to pick this prolonging life fruit, a black shadow suddenly flashed over. Before he could react, half of his body was swallowed. By the time they got a clear look, they discovered that it was a python that had swallowed Liang Yuantian whole. In the blink of an eye, half of his body had been swallowed. This sudden scene left Huang Ting and the others dumbfounded. Everything had happened too suddenly. There had been nothing in the surroundings, but it had suddenly appeared and devoured Liang Yuantian. Liang Yuantian wanted to struggle free, but how could he compare to the python? Its jaws tightened, and with a crack, Liang Yuantian stopped struggling. All of his bones had been crushed and he was dead. Then he was swallowed by the giant python and became its meal. Ah! Huang Ting's beautiful face paled in fright, and she began to scream. Su Fei, who was beside her, immediately covered her mouth, telling her to stop screaming, or else it would attract even more demon beasts. This demon beast in front of them was more than enough to kill them. Its cultivation was at 5th level spirit core stage, which was enough to crush them. Hiss! When the giant python heard Huang Ting scream, it immediately spat its tongue at them. It opened its mouth and rushed towards Huang Ting. Its speed was as fast as lightning, and in the blink of an eye, it was already in front of them. Su Fei's face changed, and his eyes were filled with despair and unwillingness. When he was about to fight back, a figure appeared in front of them and grabbed the giant python's body and slammed it on the ground. Su Fei lifted his foot and stomped on the giant python's body, and with a crack sound, the python was completely crushed into meat paste. Ding! Successfully killed the giant python. Reward 40,000 EXP, 3800 crazy point 50 SPs. Reward: Poison Resistance Pill, Giant Python Gallbladder. A 5th level spirit core stage demonic beast was a piece of cake for him, and he easily killed it. So strong. Su Fei was stunned when he saw Yi Tianyun easily killed the giant python. However, he felt like he had just survived a disaster. His back was drenched in cold sweat, and he gripped his sword tightly in his hand. The cold sweat had already flowed down the blade of the sword and onto the ground. If you are so strong, why didn't you save Brother Liang just now? Huang Ting asked. Yi Tianyun looked at her coldly. Huang Ting was so scared that she took a few steps back and sat on the ground. What obligation do I have to save you? I've already tried to persuade you, and even Brother Su has tried to persuade you not to act blindly without thinking, but you just wouldn't listen. Since that's the case, I don't want to bother with you anymore. You are just an idiot. Yi Tianyan snorted, and at the same time, he stored the giant python into his storage ring. This is also a material, so he can't waste it. How can this be? Huang Ting covered her face and cried. Who would have thought that a giant python would suddenly appear? This is the heavenly dragon dangerous land, not a place to play. If you cry again, I will throw you out. Yi Tianyan frowned. Although he was not worried that this would attract other demon beasts, it would be a waste of time. Huang Ting was so scared that she didn't dare to continue crying, and she didn't dare to look at Yi Tianyan. After Yi Tianyan looked at her coldly, he turned around and walked towards the tree. Su Fei hurriedly said. Friend, be careful, Yi Tianyan said indifferently. Generally, in the heavenly dragon dangerous land, where there are rare spirit fruits, there will be demon beasts guarding it. These idiots don't even know this, but they still dare to come in. Now that I have killed them, there will be no more demon beasts. Sure enough, he walked over and picked it easily without any problem. Prolonging life fruit was meaningless to him, but it was his spoils of war, so it was impossible for him not to accept it. Brother Yi, thank you for saving me just now, or else I would have died here. Su Fei cupped his fists and said gratefully. I will not take a single coin from you this time. I will definitely bring you to the coiling dragon cave. Yi Tianyan smiled. It's fine, you are very responsible. What should be given to you is yours. You have already persuaded them several times. And the path is very safe, but they still think that there are no demon beasts. Su Fei smiled bitterly. Not many people know about this path. I slowly found it. I did not expect it to be so bad this time. Alright, let's continue. Yi Tianyan looked at Huang Ting. You can either go back the way you came, or you can come with us. Which will you choose? Huang Ting hesitated for a moment, then stood up. Her feet suddenly slipped and fell on Yi Tianyan. But Yi Tianyan had already moved to the side, letting her fall on the muddy ground. Ouch! She cried out in pain, her eyes filled with pity. Big brother Yi, I'm sorry, it was all my fault before. As long as you can bring me in, I'll do whatever you want to me. You can do whatever you want to me. If you do this, believe it or not, I will slap you to death, then throw you to the demon beasts to eat. Yi Tianyan said coldly. You will only disgust me. Huang Ting's face paled. She no longer dared to seduce him. She quickly got up and stood aside obediently. But she winked at Su Fei. Brother Su, alright, stop disgusting me. If you want to live, just go back the way you came. If you want to go to the coiling dragon cave, then obediently follow behind. If you make any more noise, let alone brother Yi, even I want to throw you to the demon beasts to eat. Su Fei also did not fall for this trick. He even felt disgusted. Chapter 377. Huang Ting wanted to rely on her beauty, but she didn't know that she was useless to Yi Tianyan or Su Fei. To put it bluntly, she was just looking for someone to rely on. In the end, it was all for her own benefit. She seemed to be trying to please Liang Tianyuan, but in the end, she was just using him. Yi Tianyan had seen through this a long time ago. However, Huang Ting had no grudges with him, so he was too lazy to care about her. Without Huang Ting, their journey was much quieter. It was just that Su Fei didn't have any rewards to speak of. However, he still led the way honestly and chose the safest path. He didn't lose his enthusiasm because of this. Yi Tianyan followed behind and nodded in satisfaction. He had to admit that this path was very safe. Although it didn't look any different from other places, this path just happened to avoid the territory of the beasts. There were many beasts here, and as long as you don't trespass into their territory, they wouldn't attack. Unless they were really hungry, they wouldn't choose to hunt outside of their territory. The path that Su Fei took him on was undoubtedly quite safe, perfectly avoiding all the territories. Looks like you've been here many times, or else you wouldn't be so familiar with it. Yi Tianyan said from behind. This path wasn't something that could be walked out easily. It wasn't based on luck, but on one's own efforts. I've let Brother Yi laugh at me. I have indeed been here many times in search of spiritual medicine. I believe you can see that many natural treasures are guarded by beasts, so it's not easy to pick them. Unless it's the territory of the weaker beasts, I really don't dare to pick them randomly. Su Fei smiled. His smile was full of bitterness. No one would willingly come to such a dangerous place. Most of the time, it was for opportunities and to find breakthroughs. Su Fei came here often because he had an idea, and that was to break through. He wanted to advance to a stronger cultivation. That's not all. The key is that you are very sensitive to your surroundings, or else it wouldn't have been so smooth. Yi Tianyun smiled faintly. This should be a type of perception-type talent. It allows me to naturally sense the danger around me. Many people could sense danger, but some cultivators were even more sensitive. Su Fei was one of them. Although it seemed like one could walk back and forth just by memorizing the route, if it was really that easy, the guide would have been starving a long time ago. These territories would change frequently, and if the roads remain the same, there would be problems as well. You can even see through me. Not bad. I was born with a very strong sense of perception. I can sense danger in my surroundings in advance. As long as there is a hint of danger, I will immediately move away. When the sense of danger disappears, everything will go smoothly. Su Fei sighed. However, there's no meaning to it. In the eyes of others, it's a waste of talent. There's no meaning at all. A bitter smile appeared on his face, but it was unknown how much bitterness was hidden behind this smile. This is very useful. If you can become a general and command a group of soldiers, you will be able to sense danger and avoid it in advance. You will be a good commander. Yi Tianyun was very satisfied with this kind of talent. If he could become the commander of this side, then he would be able to greatly reduce the number of casualties during expeditions or battles. Correct judgment will always be the key to victory. Brother Yi, only you are willing to praise me like this. No one in my family is willing to praise me like this, and you still force me. Su Fei shook his head and did not continue to speak. Coiling Dragon Cave is not far from here, let's hurry up. Yi Tianyun nodded and continued to follow Su Fei forward. Soon, under his guidance, after passing through the forest, the front suddenly opened up. What came into view was a huge mountain. There was a winding road leading to the top of the mountain. At the top of this mountain, there was a big cave opening to the side, like a huge dragon's mouth, coiling around the mountain. It really looked like there was a huge dragon coiling around the mountain. No wonder it was called Coiling Dragon Cave. Just the appearance of the cave looked like a dragon coiling there. The big cave above could even accommodate a huge dragon, so it was not a problem to have a dragon living inside. However, that was in the past. Now there were no longer any dragons in the Coiling Dragon Cave. They either migrated away or died here. Is this Coiling Dragon Cave? It looks quite spectacular. Yi Tianyun was also shocked by this scene. If he looked closely, there really is a lifelike dragon on top of the giant peak. There were many cultivators in front of the Coiling Dragon Cave. They were constantly climbing up, and it looked very difficult. Under such great pressure, it would be difficult to climb in. Yes, this is the Coiling Dragon Cave. Rumor has it that there are a lot of treasures inside, but it is too dangerous, so I did not dare to go in. I can only bring you up to here. I can't bring you up to the top. Su Fei said apologetically. His cultivation was a bit too low, so he did not dare to go up. There may be a lot of treasures inside, but at least he had to be alive to take them. If his cultivation was a bit higher, he would definitely go in, instead of bringing Yi Tianyun here and then leaving. Yi Tianyun's eyes flickered. He looked at him and smiled. Here is 1,000 spirit stones. I will still give you what you deserve. He took out 1,000 spirit stones and gave it to Su Fei. Su Fei pushed it back and shook his head. Brother, you must be joking. I said before that I will not take a single coin from you. I will not take a single coin from you. Even if Brother E tries to force it on me, I will still throw it here. If I say I don't want it, then I don't want it. I have my own principles. Brother E saved me. If I ask for a reward from you, it would go against my conscience. Su Fei's tone was sonorous. He was not lying. He would really do it. Yi Tianyun looked at Su Fei's spirited eyes and immediately put away the spirit stones. He was very appreciative. All right, I will not force you, but I can use another method. I will give you a good fortune. I am going to enter the Coiling Dragon Cave. I wonder if you are willing to go in with me? As long as you come with me, stay by my side, I guarantee you will be safe. Su Fei was stunned. He knew that Yi Tianyan was very strong. If he had Yi Tianyan to protect him, he could really go in. Then he clenched his fists. Without thinking too much, he nodded heavily. I am willing. Then please, Brother Yi. No, I should call you Big Brother Yi. Your little brother's safety depends on you. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.